So your time starts now.
Eric, you're mute.
Oh, yeah, can.
Okay, sorry about that. Good morning, Ms. Nushaira and fellow classmates. So, these are our group members. Myself, Eric, Jerome, Pang Zisan, Lo Jiajong, and Nicole, and Kathleen Leong. Okay, now summary of the case will be explained by Pang.
So here's the summary of the case. So just now, Dr. Ri mentioned Cik Epa is the owner of the land, and the Kiwi is the person that gives loan advance to Cik Epa. So the Cik Epa deposit the IDT to Kiwi as a security of this loan secure. So in the loan agreement, the full payment shall be made by the end of April 2021. Then Kiwi then enter into as a lien holder caveat. On 28th April, Cik Epa only able to pay 45,000 ringgit Malaysia, even it's already end of the April. So Cik Epa informed that she will pay the other 5,000 ringgit by 1st May. And on 1st May, Cik Epa noticed stranger occupy her land, and the stranger told that Kiwi sold the land to him, but the registration is still incomplete. Then Kiwi refused to accept the remaining payment from Cik Epa. So Cik Epa lodged a police report and applied for register caveat. Next. So there are three issues in this case. First is whether the lien created by Cik Epa and Kiwi are valid. Second is whether Kiwi can enter into as a lien holder caveat over the said land. And the third is whether the registrar caveat can enter on the said land. Next, I will give it to Jia Zhong.
Are you speaking?
Jia Zhong.
Kathleen will present this part.
Jia Zhong, you're mute. You are mute.
Hello? Kathleen is presenting this part. Can you guys hear her voice?
No. Jajong ke?
You sound very weak.
Very slow.
Yeah. Not clear.
Wait.
Probably audio. Can you adjust your audio? Okay, after all, your legal issue correct. Okay, very good. Excellent.
Can you all hear me?
Okay. Can. Okay, very clear. Okay.
Okay.
Continue.
Give me a moment. According to Section 5 of NLC, dealing means any transaction with respect to alienated lands affected under the power conferred by Division 4, and any like transaction effected under the provision of any previous land law, but does not include any caveat or prohibitory order. And according to Section 5 of NLC, caveat means a registered caveat. And according to Section 281 Sub 1 of NLC, lien is a type of security transactions whereby any proprietor or lessee of a whole piece of land may deposit his issued document of title or duplicate lease to the lender or creditor for as security for a loan advance. And according to Section 330 Sub 1 of NLC, upon creation of lien, the lender or creditor may enter into lien holder caveat through Form 19D, after which lien will then come into effect pursuant to Section 281 Sub 1 Sub A and Sub B and Section 330 Sub 1 of NLC. In the event of default by borrower, the lender is entitled to invoke remedy available under Section 281 Sub 2 NLC, which is where the holder of any lien has obtained judgment for the amount due to him thereunder. He shall be entitled to apply to the court for and obtain forthwith an order for an order for the sales of the land or lease. Next. And the duration of lien holder caveats is located according to Section 331 of NLC, which is lien holder caveat will distinguish if the lien holder withdraw or cancel the caveats, and when the land which is subject to the lien is sold based on Section 281 sub 2, and when all sums due under the lien have been duly paid. The function of the registrar's caveats under Section 320 of NLC are to prevent fraud or improper dealings, to protect interests of the governments, to secure the land will be available to satisfy the whole or part of any debts due to the federation or state authority, and to correct the error made on the RDT or IDT to the land or any related instrument. And now I will pass to Jia Zhong.
Can you hear me clearly? So there's basically two legal cases that we can refer in order to solve the issue one, which is the Peter P. Chien versus Ramasamy Chetty, and the case of Paramore versus Zeno. In the case of Peter P. versus Ramasamy Chetty, it states that a person is entitled to a lien over the land or lease upon the deposit of the IDT as security for a loan and entry of a lien holder caveat. And the court held that the proprietor or registered owner of the land has a right to deposit the issue the IDT as security for a loan. In case of Paramore versus Zeno, it stated that the lien was not enforceable and a lien will not valid when there is no intention to create it, while the court had held that the intention to create a lien is mandatory and may be gathered from the fact that IDT has been deposited with a lender as security for loan and for no other purposes. Next. For issue 2, the legal case that we can refer is the Palaniappa Chetty versus Dupier Brothers. It states that a person who lends money to a borrower who is a registered proprietor of the land may enter to a lien holder caveat. And the court held that since the lender was entitled to possession of the borrower's IDT as security, thus it can assume that the lender has an intention to create a lien with the borrower. Next. For the issue 3, the legal case that we can refer is Rice versus Rice, and case of Lim Ah Hun versus Pendata Hak Milik Tanah Pulau Pinang. And in the case of Rice versus Rice, it states that first in time will take the priority if there is more than one registered interest over the same land. And the court held that when all things is being equal, the first equity in time take priority unless he has done an act or omission that has prejudiced his priority. In the case of Lim Ah Hun, it states that the registrar caveat only will occur when there is an improper dealings or fraud. And the court held that the defendant had correctly exercised her discretion in entering the RC, and the fact is show there's no improper dealings at all concerning the property. Thus, the court accordingly allowed the appeal and ordered the caveat to be cancelled. That's all from me.
Next. So for the discussion, the issue is whether the lien created by Chair Epa and Kiwi are valid. So the answer is yes. The lien created by Chair Epa and Kiwi are valid, and this is a statutory lien because according to NLC Section 281, lien is a type of security transaction whereby any registered proprietor or lessor of a whole piece of land may deposit his issue IDT or duplicate lease to the lender or creator for a security for a loan advance. So in this there are 4 pre-required elements. So in this case, they are fulfilled with these 4 pre-request elements, which is the first one is deposit or IDT, keeping the IDT, intention to create land, and the last is entry of lien holder caveat. So there are 2 cases that we can refer. One is a Peter P. Chen versus Ramasamy Chetty. So the court held that the right to deposit IDT as a security for a loan is restricted only to the proprietor, which means the Cik Epa deposit the IDT to Kiwi is based on her based on her own decision. So another is Paramore versus Zeno LDT. So the agreement executed between the party incorporate the intention to use the IDT as security. So means there is no any third party involved in this issue. So it fulfill the 4 pre-request element to create a statutory lien. Next slide.
So the second issue is whether Kiwi can enter into as a lien holder caveat over the said land. So the answer is yes. Kiwi can enter into as a lien holder caveat. According to NLC section 281 sub A sub 1 sub A and sub B and section 330 sub 1, a lender and creditor may enter into lien holder caveat through Form 19D, after which lien will come into effect pursuant. So here's the case refer. Paraniappa Chetty versus Tupe Brothers. The court held a person who lends money to a borrower who is also a registered proprietor of the land, and only the lender to whom the IDT has been deposited may enter a lien holder caveat. So the Kiwi can enter as a lien holder caveat because he had the IDT already. Next.
Next, Eric. Yeah, our third issue for this case is whether the registrar caveat can enter on the said land. So for the answer of this issue is no, because Cik Epa cannot enter into as a registrar caveat over the said land. In order to clarify this answer, it can be seen that Kiwi had entered into lien holder caveat on the end of April 2021, which earlier than Cik Epa's intention to apply for registrar caveat on May 2021. As we know, the general rules of caveat is any type of caveat that enter first in time will be the priority of the dispute on a said land. It is also stated in the Rice versus Rice case as when all things being equal, the first equity in time take priority unless he has done an act or omission that has prejudiced his priority failure to give notice. One more case that we can refer for this issue is Lim Ahun versus Pendaftar Hak Milik Tanah 1990. The court held was registrar caveat only can occur when there is improper dealings on or fraud. As for this third issue, dealing made by Cik Apple and Kiwi was valid as all element of lien has been fulfilled. Thus, registrar caveat are not valid due to proper dealing of both parties. Next.
So, as a conclusion, the lien created by Cik Epal and Kiwi are valid as all elements of lien based on the discussion has been fulfilled. For the second legal issue, it is also valid for Kiwi to enter the lien holder caveat in order to protect her interest as she holds the issued document title of Cik Epal's land. The registrar caveat entered by Cik Epal is not valid as Kiwi has applied for lien holder caveat earlier, where the dealing was valid, and the general rules of caveat is only one caveat can enter on the said land at one time. That is all from us. Thank you.
Okay, let's see your discussion on the legal issue. Your part, issue 1. Okay, overall, my comments is that, okay, dari segi presentation, your slides is very clear. I like how you present, okay. So you already see issue, answer, cases, okay. From the very beginning, semua okay. So this one, basically, you all are correct in identifying the legal issue. Okay, good job. Okay, let's see your first issue. Yes, correct. Statutory lien are valid. Okay, oh, I ada komen satu ni, jap. On your case issue 2, you ada typo. You tengok dekat your, sama juga the first one ni, you nampak tak bawah tu? Incorporate. No. Issue 1. Tadi, the previous slide. Paramu against Zeno Limited. Incorporate PO. Okay, so nanti you all betulkan typo. The next slide, issue 2 with the LHC kan, lien holder caveat. Okay, this one also correct. Okay. Oh, typo dia dekat, oh, dekat cases nanti. Nanti you all check lah. It's the caveat. Okay, caveat Asiatic CAVEAT. So this one is correct. Tadi ada typo. So typo tu you all just amend je. Okay, amend, and please ensure no typo in your written assignment. Okay, after all, issue 1 dengan issue 2 I tak ada comment. You all present it very well. You guys can identify it and explain it very well. I suka siapa tadi present that he said based on her own decision. Okay, so when you deposited the IDT on your own decision, okay, without force, without any duress, okay, tak ada paksaan, so that's create a valid statutory lien. Okay, so good job. That one okay. Kalau contoh you all tak ada wording kan, you all tak ingat kan consent sebenarnya, consent, CONSENT kan. Kalau you all tak ingat, buatlah ayat you all sendiri, which is very good. I tengok siapa yang present tadi. Pang. Okay, so moving on. Okay, the third issue. Okay, the third issue. Okay, issue correct. Your answer also correct. Okay, but your reason was based on the first in time kan? The first equity in time. So maksudnya caveat, lien holder caveat enter the first. So registrar caveat tak boleh enter kan? Okay, nanti you tambahkan sikit your reason because what's the function registrar's caveat? Okay, registrar caveat functions dia apa untuk dimasukkan caveat tersebut. Okay, the functions registrar's caveat masuk because of to settle government's debt, right? Okay, to fraud and all. Okay, so your answer here should be based on also functions. Okay, so you tambahlah sikit. Bagi tahu that the registrar caveat also cannot be entered because the functions is not relating to the facts in the questions. Okay, tapi sebelum you come out to your discussion on the part of cases tu, you explain sikit. Okay, the registrar's caveat under section berapa, functions dia. Alright. Okay, after all semua correct. Bagus. I'm following your presentation very good. So tak ada apa komen. I rasa you already dah complete your written report, kan? Also final exam. So if later you all dapat question macam ni your final exam, boleh jawab Okay? Alright. Okay, satu lagi tips. Later on kalau you all jawab exam kan, nak save time, you tak payah dia ada dua cara Dia ada dua cara. Later your exam you buat macam you all buat ni. Okay, ada facts tak payah. Okay, summary facts tak payah. Okay, buang masa. So you just buat legal issue, you terus jawab dengan cases apa you nak guna untuk isu tersebut. Okay, law dengan cases, terus discussion, terus conclusion. Okay, kalau ada certain my student, dia orang buat tulis legal issue, dia huraikan semua undang-undang apa dia nak pakai. Dekat bahagian discussion tu best applying all the laws mentioned above. Gitu je. Lepas tu dia explain lah kenapa dia rasa nak kena apply. And then conclusion. Okay. Otherwise you all boleh buat macam you all buat ni. Very good. Legal issue, cases apa nak pakai, terus discussion. Legal issue, cases apa nak pakai, terus discussion. Okay. This is lagi clear. Alright. So good job guys. Okay. So this one okay dah. Just betulkan typo and then you all terus boleh submit dekat pre-link submission. Okay. This one nanti you complete your report. Yang ni you PDF kan. Letak as attachment to your written report. Okay. Okay, very good. I'm so pleased with your presentation. Okay. Any question from group 1? Ataupun the rest? The rest ada question tak? Okay, nampak clear Very good issue. Lien holder caveat and registrar caveat. Okay. So moving on to next group. So next group, group 1, is it?
Yes, Miss.
Okay. Mana open camera, unmute. Okay. Ada soalan tak? Question coursework. I tunjuk dulu You all group project 1
Project 1, question 1.
Alright. So let's see. Okay, so this one. Okay. One baca questions. Salah seorang.
Mr. Suga came to you and informed that he would like to make a gift inter vivos of an undivided half portion of his land under HSM 115 lot number 131 Mukim of Sentul, KL to his wife Mrs. Sani. He now intends to execute a memorandum of transfer in undivided equal shares. Later, Mr. Suga also found out that the land is subject to tanah ini tidak boleh diberi, dipindah milik, dipajak atau digadai tanpa persetujuan pihak berkuasa negeri. Mr. Suga also has another piece of land held under HSM 226 lot number 400 Mukim Kedawang, Langkawi, which he intends to transfer the land not to his wife but to his sibling named Mr. Siwan. However, Mr. Siwan refused to pay for any monetary consideration and requests Mr. Suga to proceed inter vivos transfer to him. Mr. Suga is concerned whether any of his action will contravene any provisions of the NLC. Assuming you are working with the land office, advise Mr. Suga whether he can proceed with the transfer of both lands respectively.
Alright, so you can begin your presentation.
Assalamualaikum and good day. So my team will giving exposure to the solution method for Mr. Suga case inter vivos transfer. Mr. Suga has two lands. The first land is located in KL and the other one is located in Langkawi. Mr. Suga plans to give part of the land in KL to his wife, Mrs. Sani, while the land in Langkawi given to his brother, Mr. Siwan. Regarding his planning, he wonders whether his action will violate a provision in the NLC. So, my land officer team will explain the related legal issues and laws applicable for Mr. Suga understanding and suggest the best method for Mr. Suga to transfer for both land.
Hi, Assalamualaikum and good morning. My name is Najiha and I will explain on legal issue based on the question that has been given. Number one is why the status of Mr. Sugalan, hak milik sementara Mukim 115 lot number 131 Mukim of Sentul, Kuala Lumpur cannot be given transfer list of mortgage without any approval of the state authority. Number two, what is the method of land transfer under HM 115 lot number 131 Mukim of Sentul, Kuala Lumpur that is suitable for Mr. Suka to give to his wife, Mr. Sani. And next is what is the method of transferring land under HSM 226 lot number 400 Mukim Kedawang, Langkawi that is suitable for Mr. Suka to give to his younger brother, Mr. Siwan, who refused to pay monetary consideration. Next, I will pass to the next presenter.
Hello. For the first case of Mr. Suga and Mr. Sani, the case that is applicable for the issue is Peter Lai Kichin and Anna versus collector of stamp duties, where Peter also want to give the land to his wife by transferring the land to himself and his wife. So the applicable act is Section 214(1)(b) NLC, which state that the transfer must be a whole and not a part only. That's why they use the whole land transfer to himself and his wife. Section 5 state the restriction in interest, where Mr. Suga will need the approval of state authority to proceed this transfer. Okay, next.
So my name is Yaman Arif. So for the law applicable for Mr. Suga and Mr. Siwan is that for the cases of Kwek Wan Guan and also Ri Tan So Sim and also case of Yap Boon Ang, for the land to be applicable, that the state section 26 sub A contract act that stated in the dealing of love and affection through the bloodline also state in section 14 sub 1. The principle of section 26 sub A is that out of love and affection, siblings are not applicable to the land transfer using interdivorce. So we pass to Mr. Afiq.
So presenting on the solution. So as a land officer, the solution I will be suggesting to Mr. Suga is firstly to prepare an application form for the consent from the state authority and to transfer the land to transferee. Since the land in the Mukim Sentul subjected to tanah ini tidak boleh diberi, dipindah milik, dipajak atau digadai tanpa persetujuan pihak berkuasa negeri. So after getting the consent from the state authority, Mr. Suga will execute the transfer part as well as transferee part in the form 14A, in which both the transferor, Mr. Suga, and the transferee, Mr. Sani, must sign the transferee portion in the form 48, in where Mr. Suga will transfer the whole piece of the land to Mr. Sani and himself, so making them as the co-proprietorship of the land.
For the solution for Mr. Suga and Mr. Siwan, if Mr. Suga wants to transfer to Mr. Siwan, who are the siblings, Mr. Suga must transfer first. Mr. Suga must transfer to his parent. After that, their parents can transfer to Mr. Siwan by interdivorce. So in section 26A, love and affection can transfer by interdivorce. Okay, that's all.
Next slide. So any question?
Right. So where is your conclusion? So your conclusion, can Mr. Suga transfer the both lands if without your solution? Can he transfer
So my conclusion is
land
that
Mukim Sentul?
Mr. Siwon can transfer the land to his wife, but not to his brother, Mr. Siwon.
Alright. Okay, correct. Very good. Okay. Anybody else have questions? No. Okay, I comment dulu. Okay, let's see your issue tadi. Okay, your issue correct. Everything correct. Cuma wording je. Okay. But you are going into method kan? Okay lah, I can answer. Okay, cuma why the status of Mr. Suga tu you all tukar jadi Wader. Okay, WHETHER. Okay, Wader tu je. Yang lain okay, I can answer. Very good. Okay, good identification of issue. I suka you all punya presentation. You all present very good lah. I have listened to many presentations since Sunday. Master student itu ini, you all punya okay. Okay, daripada group 1, group 2. So I'm looking forward for the next group. Very good. Okay, moving on to your tadi mana I tulis okay, cases. Okay, cases. Okay, good identification. And I tunggu juga tadi. Okay, explanation dia mana? Okay, very good. Saya lupa tadi siapa explain kan. Okay, good. Semua okay. Up to solution. Okay, solution. Okay, later on nanti dalam written report you, the cases, the provisions, the law tu, you discuss discuss further, relates to facts. Solution ni duduk bawah dia. Okay, after you discuss, solution duduk bawah dia. I'm so pleased that you can come up with your solution. Okay, so this one good, the second pun bagus. Okay, the second solution. That's it. Okay, because transfer inter by boss, okay, can be transferred to husband and wife, spouse, one entity ataupun anak beranak. Okay, when you come up with after transferring to his parent, then parent can transfer. Very good. Okay, I have I've give these questions to my previous student. They cannot come up with this solution. So you all okay, good. Okay, after all, I tak ada apa lagi comment. I think you can complete your written report. Okay, cuma tambah conclusion sahaja. Okay, your conclusion, tengok balik you punya legal issue tu. You can just copy the issue. Lepas tu you tulis lah conclusion dia apa. Okay, conclusion for your Mukim Sentul, conclusion for your Mukim Kedawang. Same goes to your written report. Okay, very good. So I'm so pleased with you all. Okay, anybody else ada questions for them? Okay, good identification issues, law and a solution. And not even 10 minutes. Okay, so bagus. Group tadi sebenarnya lebih tapi tak apalah, first group kan. I bagi you all explain. Okay, very good. Okay, anybody else ada nak tanya for them? Tak ada? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so I'm so pleased with your presentation. Okay, now we go next. Okay, next group. Alright. So boleh jawab ni. Final examination you all. Okay. Please jangan tinggal questions Hari tu mid-sem test. I dah habis tanda dah. Ada yang tinggal questions kan. Sayang lah. Okay, sayang. You all can get 1 marks for issue. At least. Okay. Okay, group 5. Tio. So Tio and the gang lah. Tio tak ada. Bagus, bagus. I sebenarnya pening tau semalam. I dengar present.
You are a new land administrator in Johor Bahru Land Office who started work a few days ago. Your first file for the day was the registration of a transfer of land. You opened the file and saw Form 14A with the signature of the transferor and the transferee duly executed. The form had been duly filled in as required and had been attested and stamped accordingly. You notice that the name of the transferor was not the same as the name of the registered proprietor in the registered document of title. The name of the transferor was Tan bin Tin, while the name of the registered proprietor was Lan bin Lin. There were only two documents accompanying Form 14A in the file, namely the original issue document of title and the latest quit rent receipt. You also found out that the subject matter of the transfer of is a land subjected to tanah ini tidak boleh diberi, dipindah milik, dipajak atau digadai tanpa persetujuan pihak berkuasa negeri. With reference to the National Land Code 1965 and decided cases, decide whether the transfer process of land can succeed, whether the memorandum of transfer is fit for registration, and how to ensure that it is fit to be registered.
Okay, you may begin your presentation.
Good morning, everyone. On Group 5, our group members are Teo Yon Chen, Yong Li Yuan, Tan Vi Lin, Muhammad Izhan, Ifra, and me, Nur Azali binti Osman. So there are three legal issues being found in this question. First, whether the transfer process can be succeed. It based on Section 43 NLC 1965, related with the person and bodies to whom land may be disposed of. The second issue is whether the memorandum of transfer is fit for registration. So it related with the various documents required to start the land title of the transfer procedure. And the third issue is how to ensure that it's fit to be registered, which is related with the restriction in interest. Next, for the law applicable for first issue is whether the transfer process of land can succeed. It based on the section 340 sub 2 NLC stated that registration of title or interest in land under NLC shall be conclusive evidence of the title or interest except in certain circumstances. So based on this section, it can give the registered proprietor indivisible title or interest, meaning that the registration title cannot be challenged or defeated except in the specific circumstances. And this section also provides certainty and stability in land ownership. And this can encourage people to invest in land by having sense of security in their title or interest. So based on this section, only registered proprietor has the power to transfer of the land. So the case that can be referred for this issue is Muhammad Khamis bin Yaakob versus Ismail Abdullah. Next, I will pass to my other group mates to continue for second issue.
So what is the cases said that? What is the principle said in that case, Muhammad Khamis?
That one will be explained in discussion.
Okay, alright.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Izhan and I will continue the presentation for law applicable for second issue. So the second issue is whether the memorandum of transfer is fit for registration. Based on section 297, requires certain document to be presented along with instrument. Section 294 stipulate that certain document must accompany the instrument when they are presented for registration. This law to ensure the validity and accuracy of the instrument presented for registration, and it provide evidence of the identity of the party involved, the genuineness of the transaction, and the title to the land. Therefore, these documents are necessary to ensure the validity and accuracy of the instrument and to protect right and interest of all parties involved. Next, the third issue is how to ensure that it fit to be registered. Based on the problem on this case, the land is subjected to restriction in interest. So there are few law applicable for this issue. For example, Section 5 define restriction in interest. Section 76, Section 109 2A, and Section 122, Section 122 deal with the power of state authority to impose restriction of interest in land. Based on the mentioned law, the land cannot be transferred, leased, or charged unless the consent from the state authority is obtained. The state authority have the power to authorize a person to enter a piece of land that is under its control and carry out certain action such as making improvement or carrying out development subject to certain conditions. It could include the restriction on the use, development, or transfer of the land, for example, in the case of Toh Hua K versus Lin A. Chan.
Next will be the summary on the facts of the cases. For the case of Muhammad Khamis bin Yaakob versus Ismail Abdullah, the agreement to transfer the land is invalid since the plaintiff has entered into an agreement with a party who was not the registered proprietor. Thus, Bakar has no right to transfer the land. For the case Toh Huat Kai versus Lim A. Chang, the land was subjected to an express restriction that the land could not be transferred within a period of 10 years from the date of registration of title unless Tang Ka Cho as the proprietor had applied to the state authority to strike off the said restriction in interest before transfer the land. The defendant did not provide that an evidence shows Tang Ka Cho has done an application and the state authority had instructed to strike off the said restriction in interest or a note of endorsed rescission on the document of title according to section 124 sub B sub 3 of NLC. Hence, the transfer of land transacted in this case was in the breach of the restriction in interest and the transfer is incapable of registration. Next. For the discussion of issue 1, the transferor in this case, Tan Bin Tin, is not the registered proprietor as he is not the person that is entitled to the land through the land search. The registration of title or interest in the land under NLC should be conclusive evidence of the title or interest for Lan Bin Lin, which is fall under section 340 sub 2. As a result, the transfer process of this land cannot be succeed as Tan Bin Tin does not have the power of transfer the land as he is not the registered proprietor according to the registered document of title. Next.
For discussion of issue 2, the issue is asking whether the memorandum of transfer is fit for registration, and the solution is that the memorandum of transfer is not fit for registration. Section 294 of NLC stated that certain documents must accompany instruments during the registration of transfer of land. Section 297 of NLC stated that the registrar shall determine the fitness for registration of the instrument of transfer of land with the requirement of certain documents presented. There are insufficient of the certain documents such as the original issue document of title and the latest quit rent receipt accompany the memorandum of transfer only provided in the file. The certain documents to be presented along the registration of transfer of land are the adjudicated and stamped seal and purchase agreement between transferor and transferee and memorandum of transfer, original certificate of title, a copy of the latest land tax receipt, a copy of purchaser NRIC, a copy of vendor NRIC, a copy of quick rent receipt for current year, and check for registration fee for transfer. Next. For discussion of issue 3, the issue is on how to ensure that is fit to be registered, and the solution is that the registered proprietor should apply to state authority to strike off the said restriction in interest. It can be referred to the case law of Toh Huat K versus Lim Ah Kang. The judgment of law case is that the transfer of land in the case were in breach of the restriction in interest, and transfer is invalid in the eye of law due to the failure of submission of application to the state authority for approval. In our issue, the restriction of interest has also been imposed by state authority. Therefore, the registered proprietor have to apply to the state authority to strike off the said restriction in interest or a note of endorsed rescission on the document of title according to section 124 sub 3 of NLC. Section 294 of NLC required the registered proprietor to present certain documents with instruments such as the transfer of land, or other deal with land when they are presented for registration. When the submission has been made and the approval from the state authority has been obtained, then the transfer will be fit to be registered. Section 124 sub 7 said that upon approval by the state authority under this section, the land administrator shall sign a memorandum in Form 7C and present the same, and on the memorial thereof being made, the registrar shall make an entry on the register. Therefore, issue document of title to the land and shall note that thereof the authority therefore and authentic the same under his hand and seal of which the entry shall be made. Next.
Lastly is conclusion. So firstly, whether the transfer process of land can succeed or not. So the answer is transfer process of the land could not be done according to section 340 sub 2 due to different names of the transferor and registered proprietor in registered document of title. So therefore, the purchaser or the transferee needs to reconfirm the issue with the land administrator and needs to deal with his seller or transferor to get in detail about the land. Second is whether the memorandum of transfer is fit for registration. The transferor needs to be obliged to present the documents required by law under section 3402 sub 2, whether this is because due to the name of transferor is not the same as registered proprietor in document title. Therefore, the transferee is not fit for registration of the land. And this can be said as due to the registration being obtained by fraud or misrepresentation. Lastly is how to ensure that it is fit to be registered. Based on section 76E, section 192 sub 2A, and section 120 to section 122 NLC, only state authorities are in charge on the land and only persons appointed by the state authority can do such developments on the land. Therefore, if the transferee had interest on the land, he or she can apply to the state authority to strike off or resign the state restriction in the interest before transferring the land. That's all from us. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Sangat clear. Warna dia pun bagus. Okay. Clear lah. Clear. Senang nampak. Okay. Let's see your issue Okay. You cari kes baru ke? Yang 2010 tu? No.
No, we use the case in the summary.
Okay. Alright. Okay, let's see your first issue Right. Whether the transfer process of land can succeed. Okay, cannot succeed due to a different name, kan? Okay, so very good identification. Maksudnya based on the questions you dah nampak Tan Bentin dengan Lam Ben Lin. So different identification. Okay. This one very good Yang the first column bawah tu. Okay. He did not, Allah kecilnya sekejap I zoom kat He did not go through the, he did not go through the process of registration of title or interest of the land. Very good. I nampak you all consistent je sampai habis you punya discussion. Okay, good lah, good identification. First issue I okay, which is correct. Okay, correct. Okay, second issue. Okay. Okay, this one pun correct. Okay, I suka betul yang column last So you do your research. I rasa I tak emphasize sangat kan on this part masa conveyancing. So bila you baca, benda ni boleh dapat bila you baca National Land Code, okay, National Land Code. Okay, you do further reading. Very good lah. Okay, so issue number 2 also correct. Okay. Cuma tukar okay, atas ni dia bukan solution tau. Solution is bukan the term you all guna tu. Solution tu you nak solve the problem kan. So ni answer je, you buat answer je. Okay, solution tu yang nanti kan you all solve at the back, right? Yang later on. Okay. Issue number 3. Okay, it tu apa yang? It tu. How to ensure that it? It tu apa? Okay. Memorandum of transfer, kan? So, complete the sentence. Okay. Apa? Memorandum of transfer. Okay. It tu delete. Sama juga nanti bila you all jawab kan? I tahu you all bagus lah. You all identify daripada question kan? Dekat isu bawah tu. Okay. Okay, so you all nampak kan daripada questions, dah tahu dah kalau ada ayat tanah ni kan subjected tu, tanah ini tidak boleh diberi, dipindah milik, dipajak, digadai tanpa persetujuan. Okay, so that's RII kan. Sama juga dengan group tadi kan, group project 1, question 1 tadi. Okay, the rest okay. Conclusion. Okay, comes to the conclusion. Okay. I tak berapa nampak. Tapi I zoom dekat tempat I. Okay. Okay. Very good. I suka you punya presentation macam ni. So, issue, you dah terus nampak conclusion dia apa. You can do like this also for your examination. So, you tulis balik issue you dekat atas, conclusion tu apa. Issue you kat atas, conclusion apa. Ataupun you boleh buat conclusion for first issue apa. Conclusion for second issue apa. Okay. For your examination. Okay, so I tak ada masalah untuk yang ni kecuali number 2 Number 2 bawah sekali tu. This is due to the registration being obtained by fraud or misrepresentation. Okay, kat dalam questions tak ada tulis kan? Okay, kat dalam question cuma bagi tahu you notice the name of transferor different kan? Dia tak ada tulis pun fraud ataupun misrepresentation kan? So what you can do is assuming. Okay, you boleh tulis assuming. Tambah je assuming dekat depan this is due tu. Okay, assuming that this is due to apa. Okay, so you jangan put direct. Okay, sebab questions tak ada bagi tahu macam tu. But I give you bonus because you tambah kat sini. Cuma wording je lah sentence. Okay. Alright, so very good. Very good. I'm pleased with your presentation. So any question? Any question? The other classmate? Ada nak tanya tak? Okay, very good. Bagus lah, you all semua bagus. So I macam happy sikit setelah frustrated few days. Okay, so yang ni okay dah. Tak ada apa dah you all nak, kalau nak ambil up to you lah. For me tak ada dah. Okay, tak ada typo error juga. So boleh upload dah terus dalam submission link So okay, very good. So any question? Any question? Any further questions? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, very good.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you, Miss.
Yang lain tak ada nak tanya faham yang lain. Okay, moving on. Next, next group.
11. Okay. Question, project 4, question 3.
Question 4. Project 4, question 3. Ada soalan tak? I mean like the question. Tak ada. Let me show
I read the question.
Project 4, question 3. Okay, let's see. Project 3. Question 3. Lian.
Lian.
Okay. Kan, I dah buat projek-projek ni, you all sebenarnya dah nampak dah topik apa. Okay, read.
So, Melati is the managing director of Flow Construction Segera Hut, listing her brother land of Lot 18, Daerah Batu Pahat, Johor, the said land, for a company of office. 1 year after its formation, she finds that her business is doing very well, and she realized that the company needs additional capital of 2 million to manage the increased business transactions. Melati requests Datin K4 to lend her money, to which Datin K4 agrees to lend her 2 million on condition that Melati provides security for its repayment. Melati contacts her brother Ketupa and forces him to deposit the said land title with Datin K4 as security for the loan. Ketupa refused to follow Melati's request and warned Melati that he will lodge a police report against her. Eventually, without Ketupa knowing, Melati deposited a duplicate list of the said land with Datin K4. Datin K4 advanced a loan of 2 million to Melati. When the country is experiencing a period of economic recessions, slow business declines, and Melati is unable to pay Datin K4 the outstanding loan. Datin K4 then applies to land office to enter into landholder caveat. Ketupa contends that the landholder caveat cannot proceed as there is no dueling valid trade, as well as a police report has been lodged by Ketupa against Melati and Datin K4. Ketupa also argues that he will enter registrar caveat over the said land. Advise Datin K4 whether there is a dueling valid trade and if the issues raised by Ketupa will hinder her from entering the landholder caveat.
Okay. So let's see why you guys dah prepare.
I'll share my screen now. Can you see the screen?
Right. Clearly?
Okay,
Alright. 10 minutes, Okay.
A very good evening to Dr. Shaira and my friends. Today our Group 11 will present to you the discussion of Project 4 and Question 3. So the type of building of this project is Lian. So Group 11 has me, Ajwa, as leader, Afiful, Chai, Jayan, Winger, and Jenny. So now I'll pass to Chai to explain on the summary of the case.
Okay. Good morning, Doctor. Before entering the case, let me introduce the character in this case. There are 3 main characters, which is plaintiff, Ketupat, defendant, Melati, and the landholder caveat, Datin K4. Next. Let me introduce the case. Melati is a director of a company and she leasing her brother, which is Ketupat, lands for her company office at Daerah Batu Pahat. After 1 year, she realized that the company needs additional capital of 2 million to manage the increased business transaction. So that Melati requests Datin K4 to lend her money. Datin K4 agreed to lend her 2 million on condition that Melati provide security of its repayment. By this, Melati contacted Ketupat and forced him to deposit the sale land title with Datin K4 as security for the loan. Ketupat refused and warned Melati that he will lodge a police report against her. Eventually, without Ketupat knowing, Melati deposited a duplicate list of the sale land with Datin K4. Datin K4 advanced a loan of 2 million to Melati. Unfortunately, Melati experienced economic recession and unable to pay the outstanding loan. Datin K4 then applied to land office to enter into a landholder caveat. Ketupat contended that the landholder caveat cannot proceed as there is no dueling validity. a police report that has been lodged by Ketupat against Melanti and Datin Kepong. Ketupat also argued that he will enter register caveat over the said land. Alright, that's all for the introduction. I will pass to Joe to continue the legal issue of this case. Thank you. Joel, unmute.
Again. All right, so the type of building can be understand for this case, lien. Lien for this case is the lessee use the land as security for loan contract. So there are 4 legal issues can be found in these questions. The first issue is whether the lien carried between Melati and Datin Kepong valid, whether the Melati deposit a duplicate lease of a brother, said land can act as security for the loan, whether the issues raised by Ketupat will hinder Datin Kepong from entering the lien holder caveat, whether Ketupat has the right to enter the caveat register caveat or the said land. So I'll pass to Giant for law application.
Hi, good morning, Doctor. I will start to explain the law applicable with the type of building, lien. Lien is under section 2811. There are necessary elements for disposal of identity or duplicate list. The right to create a lien belongs only to the proprietor in their interest, and a third party cannot create a lien on behalf of the proprietor except with consent by the proprietor. Next. Lien holder caveat LHC are under section 281 and 330 means that the lender with whom the issued document of title to any land has been deposited as security for a loan may instead of accepting a charge. There are few clauses under this caveat, including section 3303A, which stated entering the caveat on the registered document of title to the land is to have effect. And 3304A shows that the caveat should buy the land itself or lease only, while section 3312B stated that the caveat should lapse and the entry cancelled accordingly by the registrar upon the registration of the certificate. Next. The third caveat in this case, the legislator caveat is under section 319A and used when the registrar of the titles deems to prevent the improper dealing and the fraud. This caveat is enforced and has the effect of prohibiting the registration on document of any lien holder's caveat. Under section 3213, registrar caveat should continue in force until it's cancelled by the registrar on an application on their behalf by the proprietor of the land affected. There are 2 case law related to this case. The first one is the case Velipilan Sibagulu versus Palanapia Seti. The caveat is in summary, the caveat fail will not have the effect of defeating the liability of the landholder. The landholder gets automatic priority over the land due to his retention of the instrument document of title for the duplicate list. The court held that the Palanapia Chetty has acquired the right to the lien over the land by registering at any time a caveat under section 134 of the Land Code. The court further stated that he had a prior equity and his delay in presenting the caveat registration will not take away his pre-existing equitable title. The other case is the Hongyong Ben Berhad versus the Stedhon Senior Berhad and others, which in summary, National Land Code Section 2811 speaks of the registered proprietor depositing his identity as security for the loan, but does not specify the borrower, and neither does it restrict the loan to the registered proprietor. The registered proprietor need not deposit the title himself. He may authorize or instruct the actual depositing to be done by someone. The court held that allow the Stedhon application for leave to intervene and set aside the order for sale and the auction sale. Hongyong Ben, who had intervened in the proceedings, appealed to the Court of appeal, the CA allowed appeals on the grounds that there was no proceeding in existence when the order for intervention was made. I will pass the slide to next person.
So next, for the discussion part of the legal issue 1, we discuss whether the lien created between Melati and Datin Kebo valid. So the dwelling not capable of registration included liens. According to S206, every dwelling must be properly registered and must comply with S207 until 212. The kind of dwelling that created between Melati.
Section. Right. As to section.
Okay, according to section 201, every dwelling must be properly registered and must comply with section 207 until 212. The kind of dwelling that created between Melati and Datin Kebo is lien. A lien is created when the borrowing is for a short term and the issue document of title, IDT, is deposited or duplicate list with the lender as a security for loan and for no other purposes. It is protected through endorsement in the RDT. The lender may apply for an entry of a lien holder's caveat as protection. In this case, the lessee Melati deposit the duplicated list of the whole piece of land which belonged to her brothers, Ketupat, as a security for loan to the creditor, Datin Kebo. Next. For legal issue 2, we discuss whether Melati deposited a duplicate list of her brother's said land can act as a security for the loan. Without Ketupat knowing, Melati duplicated the land list and Datin Kebo advanced the 2 million loan. In this case, the type of lien is statutory lien. Statutory lien is a type of security dwelling give rise to non-registerable interest in the land, lease, or undivided share. There was 3 requirements for statutory liens. Firstly, the deposit of original identity or the duplicate list. At this stage, what is created is equitable lien. According to Section 281 NLC, the right to grant a landholder's caveats belongs only to the registered proprietor, co-proprietor, or undivided shares, or a registered leaseholder. It is not possible for a third party with whom the identity has been deposited for safekeeping or purpose of dealing with land registry to create a land. The land is considered as no longer in existence when the landholder returns the original identity or duplicate list upon full settlement of the loan. In this case, the deposit of title by Melati cannot be a land when the deposit of title is not authorized by the proprietor who is her brother, Ketupat. The act of deposit must be with intention. Next, I will pass to next person to present about the issue number 3 and 4.
For legal issue number 3, we discuss about the issue raised by Ketupat will hinder Datin Kebo from entering the lien holder caveat. According to Section 281 Sub 1 NLC, there are 3 elements that need to comply for a valid lien, which is depositing the identity with the lender, intention to create a lien, and entry of the lien holder's caveat. Thereafter, the lien holders can enter the caveat to protect the said land for the safety purpose. In this case, Datin Kebo's intention to enter the lien holder's caveat LHC will be hindered since there is no valid deal made by Melati and Datin Kebo. Datin Kebo's intention to enter LHC is to apply for OFS, order for sale to said land, as Melati cannot afford to repay the loan. Lien is valid when Ketupat gave permission for Melati to deposit the said land as security to Datin Kebo for her loan application. However, Ketupat, who is the landholder, did not give permission to Melati. Hence, there will be no intention to create a lien. Thus, the issue raised by Ketupat will obviously hinder Datin Kebo from entering the LHC. Next. For legal issue 4, we'll discuss whether Ketupat has the right to enter the registrar's caveat over the said land. According to Section 320, Sub 1, Sub A, NLC, Ketupat has the right to enter the RC. Registrar may lodge an RC upon application if he is satisfied that that there has been fraudulent conduct in any land dealing that has caused the applicant to suffer loss. The fraud alleged must be that of actual fraud which has been committed, is about to be committed. Since Melati has committed frauds, she has duplicated the list without Ketupat's consent. Ketupat will suffer loss due to Melati's unpaid loan. Hence, Ketupat has the right to lodge a DRC to protect and prevent dealings with the said land. Therefore, all the dealings that have been made by Melati and Datin Kepo will be cancelled immediately, and the RC will continue in force until it is cancelled by Ketupat. There will be no fixed duration or specific lifespan for RC. Next, I will pass to Jenny for the conclusion.
So from the discussion just now, it can be concluded that firstly, the lien created between Melati and Datin Kepo is not valid because the right to create lien belongs only to Ketupat, who is the proprietor. Melati, as the third party, cannot create a lien on behalf of Ketupat except with his consent. Second, the duplicate list of Melati's brother's said land deposited by Melati cannot act as a security for the loan because the deposit of title is not authorized by the proprietor, who is Ketupat. Thirdly, the issues raised by Ketupat will hinder Datin Kepo from entering the lien holder caveat because the lien between Melati and Datin Kepo is not valid. And lastly, the Ketupat has the right to enter the registrar's caveat to protect and prevent dealings over the said land because Melati has committed fraud as she duplicated the list without Ketupat's consent. That's all for our presentation. Thank you.
Right, okay. Very good. Formal ada apa? Anak panah tu semua. Okay, basically dari segi presentation, alright. Very clear. Okay, I nak tegur sikit je kalau bab colour ni. Pergi dekat the first kot. Sekejap. Where's my comment okay, here. Character. Tadi? Okay. So, you colourkan bawah tu defendant kan? And then plaintiff, lien holder caveat. Warna ketupat tu duduk bawah sekali. So, biar seragam. So, kita tahu atas tu nama karakter. Bawah tu apa yang you all dia punya position. Okay? Warna dia je. Warna kena sama dengan defendant dengan LHC. Itu je lah. Warna apa yang you all guna tu? Warna belakang dia tu. Itu je lah. Alah, you all tukar position. Atas ketupat tu you tukar nama. Plaintiff. Bawah tu you tukar ketupat kan. Tukar je lah kan. Gitu. Right? So, tukar arrangement dia. Okay. Overall betul. You all correct. Reason je. Macam ada lari sikit. Nanti I tegur sikit.
Nanti saya tukar.
Oh, yang naik balik.
Oh.
Ketupat tu colour putih lah. Baru sama dengan Melati dengan Datin Kepo. Okay. Okay. So that's for clear presentation. After all, you all punya presentation, okay, nice. Cuma bahagian discussion tu, ini for your future ni future improvement. Tulisan tu besarkan sikit. Alright. Comel yang ni. You all guna apa ni? Canva. Canva yang the template Okay, that's okay. Okay, comes. Let's see your legal issue. Okay, legal issue. Okay, legal issue. Sekejap tadi I zoom in. Okay. Well, first, whether the lien created between Melati and Datin Kepo is valid. Okay, tambah is valid je. Dari segi grammar je tu. Okay, second, whether Melati deposited a duplicate list of her brother's said land her brother's said land can act as a security for the loan. Okay, correct? Whether the issues raised by Ketupat will hinder Datin Kepong from entering the LHC. Okay, correct? Whether Ketupat has the right to enter the registrar's cabinet of this. Okay, correct. And I like the you colorkan apa? The keyword. Okay, very good. Later on kalau you all jawab exam pun, okay, boleh highlight. Okay, highlight ataupun underline. Okay. Right, next. Next, slide number 6 and 7. Okay, satu lagi sukalah you all buat page atas tu kan. Senang nak tengok. Okay, 6. Form. Form 19A kan. Capital. When you all do nanti, kan tadi kita ada belajar land acquisition form kan. Capital kan. 7 pun sama. 7. Typo 19F, 19F. Okay. So make sure yang you all buat tu huruf besar. Okay, di capital. Alright. Okay. The rest. Okay, discussion. Okay, let's see your discussion. Okay. Discussion issue number 1. Okay. Sekejap. Sekejap besarkan. I tak nampak ni. Okay. Whether the lien created between Melati and Datin Kepong valid. Okay, this one very good. Okay, explanation. Okay, this is what I said to you all. Kalau macam group-group tadi, bila discussion tu terus letak cases kan, terus discuss. Kalau macam ni pun boleh. Bila you jawab exam nanti, kalau contoh you takut tak ingat cases, you boleh list down the cases. When you come into discussion, you letak ayat tu. Based on the above cases mentioned, okay, ataupun applying all the laws mentioned above, okay, write down, okay, make sure ada dalam you all punya jawapan, okay. So this issue I okay, explanation pun I okay, kecuali typo je, nampak tak? What do we call it? Lim, I panggil ni lim. Yang tu, in this case the lessee, okay, is lessee, L-E-S-S. Kalau leasee bukan. Alright? Lease. Lessee, lessor. Right? Okay? Okay, just typo minor. I okay je. That doesn't deduct marks. Okay? Okay, this one very good. Okay, I like your explanation. Next issue. Okay, next issue. Whether Melati deposited a duplicate list of her brother's said land can act as a security for the loan. Okay. Sekejap ya. Okay. This one correct. Sebab lien can be created, okay, when you deposit original IDT or duplicate list. Okay. So, memang you all punya questions ni, hari tu I random kan. Yang question ni memang I intentionally tukar jadi duplicate list. Okay. So, kalau IDT je, boring lah kan. You all semua tahu IDT kan. So kita buat asing. What if kalau you all jumpa questions benda tu duplicate list. Okay, it's not subject, it's not topic list. It's still topic lien. Alright, sebab deposit duplicate list. Okay, this one correct. Okay, it cannot be lien because the deposit of title is not authorized by the proprietor who is her brother, Ketupat. Okay, this one very good. Good. Good identification. Okay. Other than the typo, I tak ada comment. This one very good. I like the explanation. Okay, next issue. Okay, whether the issues raised by Ketupat will hinder Datin Kepong from entering the lien holder caveat. Okay. So this one. Okay. Good. Okay. Memang akan hinder the caveat. Okay. Because as a owner tak dapat permission. Okay, cuma betulkan kat situ. However, Ketupat who is the landholder, he is not landholder. Dia apa? Landowner. Okay, ataupun you boleh buat registered proprietor. Okay, kan? Sebab IDT tu milik Ketupat. Okay, cuma Melati by force take the duplicate list tu. IDT pula. Duplicate list kan? Duplicate list tu deposit kepada Datin Kepong. Right. Okay, very good. Explanation I okay. Okay, next, moving on, the legal issue number 4. whether ketupat has the right to enter the registrar caveat over the said land. Okay, this one very good. Okay, so you see difference you punya questions and answer dengan group 1 tadi. Okay, group 1 tadi they explain the registrar's caveat. Okay, first time in priority. Okay, group 1 tadi pun boleh relate dengan functions. So you all specific ke functions, which is good. Okay, memang I intentionally differencekan you all punya fakta. Baru you nampak macam mana you nak jawab soalan yang macam ni you nak jawab soalan yang macam tu. Alright? Okay, this one. Okay, cuma kat sini mana tadi I nampak fraud It's not fraud, my dear. Okay, fraud tu. Since Melati has committed fraud. No. If you check on the questions, okay, questions you dekat perenggan, the hint is dekat perenggan 2. Okay, dekat perenggan 2, Melati contacted her brother, Ketupat, and forced him, kan? Force. Okay, bukan fraud. Okay, so you tukar, you cakap since Melati force Ketupat, okay, to deposit the list without Ketupat. Okay, tukar je. Since Melati tu, mana since Melati? Okay, since Melati has committed fraud. Itu kerja. Since Melati has force Ketupat to deposit okay, the duplicate list. Duplicate, you all duplicate list ke? Bukan land title lah. To lend her contacted to
The original list.
Tapi you all punya list dia ada satu yang list. Oh, Melati. Bukan, Melati deposited a duplicate list. Betul lah, betul. You all punya duplicate list. Okay. So, to deposit the duplicate list. Okay, without. Okay dah. Delete yang she sampai list tu. Without tu jangan delete. Delete yang she has duplicate the list. Okay, without Ketupat's consent. Ketupat will suffer a loss unpaid loan. Okay. Alright. Okay. Alright. Okay. Very good. So you relatekan balik relatekan balik dengan fakta. Alright. So other than that, okay, conclusion. Okay, conclusion page 11. Page 11. Oh, tadi dah tukar lah kan. Oh, conclusion, issue 1 sahaja. Issue 1, the lien created between Melati and Datin Kepo is not valid because the right to create lien belongs only to Ketupat who is the registered proprietor of the land. Okay, registered proprietor of the land. Melati as a third party cannot create a lien on behalf of Ketupat. Okay. Except with his consent. Okay. Alright. Ataupun kalau contoh dalam exam, okay, tak sempat kan? Tak sempat nak tulis, you all boleh buat the lien created between Melati and Datin Kepo is not valid. Okay, because it was because the lien was created without Ketupat's consent. Pendek macam tu pun boleh. Alright. Okay, after all, very good. I'm pleased with your presentation. Good explanation. Except typo sikit okay je. Alright. Okay, very good. So, Mela, ni apa? Template dalam Canva
Ya, template.
Beli ke?
Sorry?
Kena beli ke?
Percuma itu. Macam ni yang buat.
Oh, yeah. Oh, very good. Nice. Bagus lah. I learned something from you all. Okay. So, very good. Dah boleh upload lah dalam link submission. Okay, so I believe that you all can complete your written report. Okay, very good. So, share with others juga. Okay. Alright. Thank you so much. Okay. Soalan grup you all grup berapa ni? 11 soalan grup 11 dia panjang sikit kan. So you can see how the circumstances difference. So kalau you all nampak ada tulis force ke, fraud ke ataupun contoh debts, okay, LHDN, Inland Revenue Department, okay, so you relate balik dengan registrar's caveat. Okay, so very good. Okay. And soalan dia pun, sekejap I tengok. Okay, soalan dia orang pun tak ada hint ni. Hint dia tak ada hint lah. Okay, bawah tu kan. Advise Datin Kepo whether there is a dealing validly created and if the issues raised by ketupat. Okay, so if the issues raised by ketupat ni, you all kena tengok balik dekat fakta. Okay, but very good. Identification issues. Okay, come. Next group. Okay. Good, you all ni. So far okay. I'm macam happy sikit. Group 4 Okay. Okay. You punya soalan? Come I share. Projek berapa you all ni? Oh, ada dah? Oh, dah ada. Oh, bagus. Okay, bagus. Okay, now you may baca dulu questions.
Okay,
Lepas tu
the
begin your presentation.
The question is, Bora's friend named Tratai is the registered proprietor of a piece of land held under HSM 1735, PT number 55, Lot 5678, Mukim Kuala Langkawi, which becomes landlocked due to fast development of Pekan Kuah with high-rise building and hotel developed in the area. Tratai realizes that the land price has increased tremendously, and at the same time, Tratai needs to develop her land. The immediate neighbor who shares the left boundary is a very famous businessman named Datuk Kiwi, and when approached by Tratai, indicated that he is not willing to part even with one inch of his land without any monetary consideration. The neighbor who shares the land boundary on the right is known as Mr. Persimmon. Is residing in Australia and is almost untraceable. However, Mr. Persimmon's assistant named Papaya, who's sometime coming to Pekan Kuah, told Tratai that it would be alright for her to use the path on Mr. Persimmon's land to access the main road, although without permission, as long as she would not damage the land. Tratai is confused concerning the best way to make sure that her land is accessible from the main road and the road should not be too far from her land. Advise Tratai on the option of access offered in National Land Code 1965 and whether it is possible to create a right-of-way without the permission of Datuk Kiwi and Mr. Persimmon.
For the summary of the facts, the owner of the dominant land is Tratai and the owner of the servient land is Datuk Kiwi and Mr. Persimmon. Tratai is a registered owner of a land that became landlocked due to the past development of Mukim Kuah with high-rise building and hotel developed in that area. Tratai realized that the land price has increased tremendously and at the same time she needs to develop her land. Therefore, she needs to access to the main road. The immediate neighbor who shares the left boundary is a very famous businessman named Datuk Kiwi, and when approached, indicated that he is not willing to part even with one inch of his land without any monetary consideration. The owner of the land boundary on the right, which is known as Mr. Persimmon, his assistant said it would be alright for her to access his land to access the main road, although without permission, if she would not damage the land.
Right, so for legal issues, whether Tratai, the landowner, has a right to claim of easement on Datuk Kiwi and Mr. Persimmon, or she can create a right-of-way without the permission of Datuk Kiwi and Mr. Persimmon to access the main road. Next.
On the law applicable for the easements issue, as stated in sections 282, easement is the right granted towards the other land to enjoy a benefit such as a road, water, electricity, and others. For the right of able to granting the easement on sections 283 is the right to do something on the certain land. Next. On the creations of easement, there must have a dominant land and also servient land. Easement is the beneficial for dominant land, and the owner of dominant land is different from the servient land. The right must be capable of forming the subject matters of a grant, and it must be a registered easement. Both parties are intended to form the easement. On the applications of the easement,
as per sections 286, grant of easement shall be effected through registration, which is instrument form 17A. Land administration's right-of-way, which is LERO. LERO is a right-of-way that created by the land administrator over alienated land that owned by the landowner for the purpose of providing access between any land and also a public terminal. Section 387 stated that public terminal means the foreshore or a river, railway stations, or a public road. Section 388, it stated that land administrator may create rights of way over land, which shall be known as land administrator rights of way. The rights conferred through the creations of a land administrator right of way shall run with the land and shall be binding on the land's proprietors and occupiers for the time being.
Next, I will present discussion of the easement to the fact in question with the case Datin Siti Hajar versus Morugasu. This case was related to easement because the defendant had built an approach road over the plaintiff land. From this case, we know that an easement must be created by express grant and registration is required. Next. According to this case, the possible solution that we want to advise Teratai to resolve the problem is by the right of an easement under Section 283 of NLC. Teratai can grant an easement by an express grant as provided under Section 284 of NLC and execute as an instrument in Form 17A pursuant to Section 286 of NLC. Besides that, because of Mr. Kiwi is a businessman, the Teratai may include a payment for him as compensation. Next.
Here we'll continue discussing about the alternative solution, which is land administrator right of way LERO. Based on NLC Section 387 and Section 388, Teratai can create a right of way without the permission of Dato' Kiwi and Mr. Persimmon to access the main road. This option might be the other alternative if the sovereign landowner refuses to grant an easement to dominant landowner. Teratai wants her land to accessible from the main road, and this is accordance with the NLC Section 387. Therefore, she can apply a private LERO only for her own use or public LERO for the usage of public access depending on what she develops on her land. An application can be made on an office for a LERO. Here is a related case, which is the respondent applied for private LERO and was granted. The respondent intended to develop his land into condo. After investigation, it was not for the use of his own, but for the public benefit. The court held that the main intention of the respondent in applying LERO was for commercial purpose, not just for his use. Therefore, private LERO is not appropriate. He should be applied for public LERO instead of private LERO. Next.
So for the conclusion, what can we advise to Teratai? So considering the facts and laws stated above, Teratai has the right to claim an easement on Dato' Kiwi's and Mr. Persimmon's land by an express grant from both owners to access to the main road under Section 283 of NLC, and may also include monetary consideration as compensation to the servient landowner, which is Dato' Kiwi. Teratai then shall register the easement with instrument form 17A under section 286 sub 1 of NLC. And as an alternative, it is possible for Teratai to create a right of way without the permission of Dato' Kiwi and Mr. Persimmon by applying for LERO in the land office under section 387 and 388 of NLC if the servient landowners refuse to grant an easement. That is all.
Okay, I get it. Okay. Okay, come. Have a look at your questions first. First of all, nice presentation. Very clear. Okay, cantik lah. Nampak kan? Jelas. Ni pun gambar juga Oh, kreatif you all Okay. So now let's see Kejap I zoom on my part. I macam terfikir je. Kenapa you all jawab under Laro kan? Sebab kita benda tu sebab topik Laro tu tak ada dalam our syllabus. Then I rasa sebab you all nampak question kan? Right of way bawah tu. Okay, advice teratai on the option of access offered and whether it is possible to create a right of way. Alright. Okay. I'm okay with you all punya explanation on Laro. Okay, that's a very good. You all take efforts extra. Okay. Cuma if later on you all dapat question macam ni, tak perlu explain pasal Laro. Okay. Just bagi tahu the alternative. If siapa nama teratai? The alternative solution for teratai is to obtain Laro. Either public or private Laro from land office. Okay. Okay. So other than that, okay. Tu I macam kenapa isu Laro Okay, so Laro tak ada dalam your syllabus kan? Tak ajar Laro kan? Okay. But very good lah. Okay. You all do further research. Okay. So everyone pun boleh benefit. Okay. Now. Okay. You highlight, okay, tengok dekat the first paragraph tu, it says what? Which becomes landlocked. Alright, which becomes landlocked. So dia dah ada hint dah. So kalau ada landlocked ataupun you all nampak kalau contoh, bukan you all punya mid-sem test. Kejap contoh, ada satu questions tepi army training ground, okay? So army training ground ataupun ada gunung ke, okay? Anything that lock your land, so you can apply easement. So you nampak je hint macam tu, you dah tahu dah topik apa you nak pakai, okay? Easement, okay? Okay. Now moving on to, let me see my comment tadi. Okay, moving on to first issue. Summary of facts, legal issues. Okay, legal issues as a right to claim for easement or create right of way. Okay, kejap Okay. Okay, I can accept this legal issue. Okay, satu lagi. Kalau dalam you all punya exam, tak perlu buat landowner of blah 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 blah. Okay, panjang kan? So save your time. So this one okay, very good. You extra you all ni memang extra yang group ni Kejap QN teratai has a right or can create right without the permission. Okay, very good. You gabung. Okay, boleh. Okay, next. Laws applicable. Okay. Tambah NLC NLC. It's just for your presentation je NLC. Okay. Sebab macam ni section 282 mana? I tahu kita belajar land kan, tapi proper in a full citation. Okay. Sama juga macam you jawab exam kan. I dah bagi tahu kan you all tulis National Land Code dalam kurungan NLC. Thereafter baru tulis NLC. Alright? Okay. Next. Laws applicable. Okay, next. This one I can accept. Sama juga nanti betulkan you punya NLC tu. Oh tak apalah, atas tu dah betulkan NLC kan, bawah tu tak payahlah. Okay je. This one okay. I nak tengok discussion. Alright, okay, this one The first one is easement. So teratai has a right to claim easement. However, according to the case, easement must be expressly granted. Okay, easement may include a payment. Teratai need to register. Okay, next. Okay, pergi balik kat atas tadi. Okay. Tadi you all ada explain ke? Did she get the express grant? Did teratai get the consent from Datuk Kiwi or Mr. Persimmon? Did teratai get the consent or not? She didn't, right? Okay. So later dalam you all punya written report, explain juga. Okay, this one dah okay dah. Cuma dia tak ada supporting towards this discussion. Okay, you terus jump terus kan. You terus jump pergi, kalau tak dapat terus pergi minta laru. Okay, so dalam you punya written report, explain explain, did she get the consent? Okay, did she fulfill the elements for easement? Okay, so must get ke prior. Okay, bawah ni ada. Alright, good. Lepas tu, okay, dalam you punya written report nanti, you all emphasize emphasize kenapa dia tak bagi consent kan. Kat sini bukan kenapa. What is his indication? Okay, sebab kat sini I dah bagi you all hint dah. Dia indicated that he is not willing to part even 1 inch without any monetary consideration kan. So must get express grant to create must get express grant from both Datuk Kiwi and Mr. Persimmon to create a right of way on their land based on section 283. To create easement lah. Okay, to create easement. This easement may include payment as a compensation. Ya, tapi Mr. Persimmon tak minta payment kan? Mr. Persimmon tak ada cakap apa-apa. Okay, kat sini, okay, untuk Mr. Persimmon you emphasize, okay, although, okay, nanti you all just take note je. Although, Papaya, the Mr. Persimmon's assistant, told her that she can use the path to access to the main road, okay, as long as she will not damage the land. However, the consent by Mr. Persimmon must be obtained, okay. Although Mr. Persimmon is unaddressable, tapi kan ada assistant dia, so maksudnya he still can be contactable. Okay, so you kena cerita juga the silent of Mr. Persimmon kat sini, okay, dalam you punya written report the silent of Mr. Persimmon kat sini you kena cerita juga. Okay, kena dapatkan express grant dia. Okay. Separate sikit lah, separate sikit. Okay, atas tu dah nak habis dah tu. Okay dah. Atas tu you all cakap pasal consent daripada Datuk Kiwi kan. Bawah tu you relate kan. Sebab Mr. Persimmon stay kat Australia kan. Okay. Okay. Okay, that one okay. Register. Next. So yang bahagian ni je, bahagian ni you improve sikit je. Without the permission to access the option might be alternative. Okay, correct. Okay, ini extra related case lagi. I tak ada explain kan, tapi bagus lah, which is true. Okay, kelab renang ni quite landmark case. Okay, untuk Laro. Okay, this one is bonus lah. Alright, very good. The conclusion. So let's see your conclusion considering the facts. Good. Ayat ni I suka. Okay. Considering the facts and law stated above. Okay. You all boleh buat ayat macam ni ataupun applying the law stated above. Okay. Kat dalam mid-sem test hari tu, ada few ada buat ayat macam tu. Very good. So kalau you all tak sempat nak buat macam among the group yang sebelum-sebelum ni kan, buat law, apply law, apply kan. Okay, takut you terlupa law mana you lupa nak letak kan. You boleh buat macam list down the law, lepas tu apply. So kalau dalam tengah apply tu you teringat ada lagi law, you tulis je lah dekat bawah tu. Okay, don't worry about the sequence. As long as you fulfill, there will be marks. Okay, so this one okay. Alright, as alternative, the right of way without the permission by applying for Laro. Okay, good. Okay, conclusion macam ni I nak. Okay. Paling I suka you tulis registration. Good. Sebab easement perlu registration. Barulah valid. Okay. Okay, other than that, okay. So you just improve sikit je. Alright. Other than that, very good. Okay, so dah boleh jawab ni exam kan? Okay. Ni dah kira revision lah ni. Kan? Okay, very good this team. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, next group. Let's have next group. This group berapa ya? Group number?
Kita group 10.
Group 10. Okay. Itulah I khusyuk tengok presentation table I kelawa jap. Okay dah. Okay. Group 10. Okay. Alright. Okay. Okay, jap. Okay, you may start.
EPA is the registered owner of a piece of land held under HSD 123 PT number 20, Daerah Shah Alam, Selangor, hereinafter refers to as the said land. Before performing her Umrah on February 2022, she deposited the issue document titled IDT of the said land to Bendy as a security for the loan advanced to her in the sum of 50,000 ringgit Malaysia amount the terms stated in the law agreement entered into between party. The full payment for the loan shall be made by end of February 2022. When Sheikh EPA returned from Mecca on 27 February 2022, Bendy demanded the payment for the loan, to which Sheikh EPA can only pay 45,000 ringgit Malaysia to Bendy. The unpaid balance for the loan will be paid on the following days. On the next day, Bendy contacted Sheikh EPA to pay the balance payment for the loan. However, Sheikh EPA refused to pay and blocked his contact number. Bendy also found out posters were put out on the land location and nearby area advertising the sales of the said land. Bendy went to land office and requested to apply for lien holder caveat. The registrar informed him that there was a private caveat entered on the year of 2000 by an individual named Sawi over the said land. Assuming you are working with the land office, decide whether Bendy has a right as a lien holder on the said land and can the registrar remove the private caveat if requested by Bendy.
Can see my slide?
Sorry. Okay. Okay, you may begin.
Alright. So, good morning to Doctor and all the friends. My name is Yin Yi and my team members Jie-Yu, Chao-Jun, Jingni, Wan-Rong and Radin. And today we all will discuss our case. So for the summary on facts, a land plot is owned in the name of Sheikh EPA. She gave Bendy the IDT as collateral for the loan in the amount of 50,000. The loan must be fully repaid by the end of February 2022, according to the terms of the loan agreement signed by the parties. And Sheikh EPA could only pay about 45,000 to Bendy. And Bendy tried to contact Sheikh EPA to settle the loan's remaining sum, but Sheikh EPA refused and banned his number. Additionally, the land's location and nearby areas advertised the sales of the said land. Bendy visited the land office and asked to submit a lien holder caveat application. The registrar informed him that a person called Sawit had logged a private caveat over the aforementioned land in the year 2000.
For legal issue in these cases, there are few issues needed to be clarified, which are whether Bendy has the right as a lien holder on the said land, whether the registrar can remove the private caveat if requested by Bendy, and whether EPA can deposit the IDT of the said land to Bendy as a security for loan when there was a private caveat entered in the year of 2000 by Sawi over the said land, and is the private caveat valid from 2000 until 2022 for a period of 22 years, for a period of 22 years.
For the laws applicable, the Section 281 sub 1 of NLC, lien is a security transaction whereby the registrar proprietor of a whole piece of land deposits his IDT to the lender as a security for a loan advance. There is only the lender to whom the IDT has been deposited may enter into LHC. Section 328 sub 1 of NLC, a private caveat will lapse after 6 years.
while the section 326 of NLC, the removal by registrar in the application via form 19H along with prescribed fee, and registrar will serve the caveator with a notice intended of removal via form 19C. The caveat will be removed 2 months after the notice is served unless the caveator obtain a court order to extend the caveat. The example of case is Palanapa Chetty versus Dubai, 1919. A person who lent money to a borrower who is also a registered proprietor of the land may enter a lien holder caveat if the borrower requests him to do so in order to protect his equitable interest with the land. The second case is Aslam Madin case. Once a period of private caveat lapses, the caveator can no longer rely on any claim or caveator interest in the land.
As for the discussion of fact, the first issue is whether Bendy has the right as a landholder on the said land. The answer is yes. According to the section 281, sub 1, sub A and sub B, and section 330, sub 1 and LC, Bendy as the landholder has the right to lot and enter into LHC through Form 19D. He has held that the identity of the land from JEPA as they have signed a loan agreement which gives the land as security. Hence, Bendy has the right to enter into the LHC at any time upon the creation of the land, which create equitable interest to enter LHC. And JEPA cannot advertise and sell the land after the LHC is lot, as all dealing with the land will be restrained. Next.
Issue 2. The registrar can remove the private caveat. Bendy has the right to request to remove the private caveat as he has the intention to enter lien holder caveat. The registrar can remove the caveat after the application of Form 19H along with prescribed fee by Bendy, as Sawi does not have any intention to extend the caveat after the notice intended of removal has been released after 2 months. Next, for issue 3, JEPA can deposit the IDT of the said land to Bendy as a security. The private caveat that was made by Sawi in 2000 was left as according to section 32A sub 1 and LC. Private caveat will be left after 6 years if the caveator no longer relies on any claim of caveatable interest in the land. The registrar can have his duty to remove caveat through application of Form 19H and create a LHC for Bendy to restrain JEPA from dealing on the land as a registration, endorsement, or entry on the RDT of any LHC is not prohibited according to section 326 NLC. Next.
Conclusion, the case of JEPA and Bendy involves a loan agreement and caveat over the land plot owned by JEPA. In this case, JEPA is the borrower and Bendy is the lender. Upon the creation of lien, Bendy has a right as a lien holder on the land plot as the IDT was deposited with him as security for the loan. Besides, the private caveat entered by Sawi over the land in 2000 years already lapsed and the private caveat become invalid. Hence, Bendy's request for a lien holder caveat can be granted by the registrar. Bendy holds the IDT and can enter LHC, as LHC can be entered by a person who holds the IDT. The LHC will restrain JEPA from dealing on the land. The legal principle of Palanapa Chetty versus Dupier Brothers is applicable in this case. That's all from us. Thank you.
Okay. Laju present. Okay, my dear. Okay, come, let's see your questions. Do you have the questions? Okay, come. Okay, I think you all overlook kat sini. I'm not saying what you said to wrong. Tak. Ada few things wrong. Okay, I think the last issue is correct. Okay, come, let's see. Okay, tengok soalan ni. You tengok perenggan. Okay, perenggan 1. Okay, yang bawah tu kan. Among the terms stated in the loan agreement entered into between parties, the full payment for the loan shall be made by end of February 2022. Right. End of February 2022 berapa hari bulan sayang? 28 hari bulan kan? Okay. So you tengok perenggan kedua. When Cik Apple returned from Mecca on 27. Okay. So does Cik Apple default payment ke tidak? Okay, so Bendy demanded the payment to which Cik Apple can only pay 45,000. Okay, so ada balance lagi. Dia kata dia akan bayar will be paid on the following day. So the next day. On the next day, Bendy contacted Cik Apple to pay the balance payment for the loan. However, Cik Apple refused to pay and blocked his contact number. Oh, okay, sorry. I yang silap. Okay. Oh, sebab I ada satu lagi questions. Bendy tu yang block. Okay, Bendy tu block, dia tak nak bayar. Okay. So you all punya, sorry my mistake. I banyak sangat soalan. Okay, you all punya, okay, correct. So another one yang salah. Sekejap. Okay, betul. I have another questions where Bendy tu yang block. Bendy tu block. Okay, Bendy tu yang refuse to receive the payment. So kalau Bendy tu refuse to receive the payment, Bendy tak boleh masuk LHC. Okay? Alright. Okay, so come back to your presentation. Okay? So kat sini I minta maaf lah I yang silap. Okay, kejap I need to change my comment issue. Okay. Okay, let's see your issue. Bendy, whether the registrar can remove, whether Cik Apple, okay, thank you. So, I tak nampak. Whether Cik Apple can deposit the IDT as a security for loan when there was a private caveat. Okay, issue number 3. Okay, issue number 3, you tak payah cerita pasal Cik Apple can deposit pun tak apa. Alright, so issue number 3, you can just cerita whether the private caveat enter can be removed or not. Actually ada 2 issue je, but the third issue tu okay. Okay, I can accept it. Because, so in my scheme answer, you punya discussion on the period of private caveat tu, you duduk bawah issue number 2. Okay? Okay, kalau nanti dalam you punya exam, okay, kalau you nampak soalan macam tu, okay, soalan you, can decide whether Bendy has the right as a lien holder on the said land. And can the registrar remove the private caveat if requested by Bendy, kan? Okay, so maksudnya kat situ dah ada 2 isu dah. Alright? So dah dapat 2 isu. So your third issue, okay, I boleh accept. At least you identify yang memang I nak dalam isu registrar, dalam isu private caveat tu you kena discuss period dia. Kan, period dia lain daripada registrar caveat. Okay. And I'm very sorry tadi I confuse soalan. Okay, so you all punya correct. I ada lagi satu soalan, Bendy tu yang block. Okay. So kalau Bendy tu block, okay. Kalau Bendy tu yang block, so dia tak nak, dia refuse to receive the payment. Okay, kan you all nampak kan dalam soalan tu ada on the next day. You tengok betul-betul tau sequence date tu. Sama macam soalan homework you all. Okay, hari tu ada yang tanya, hari tu, Miss, saya tak faham, tarikh. No, you check balik. Baca betul-betul ayat dalam tu. Okay, so you all punya okay, correct. Okay, sebab yang ni Cik Apple yang block. Kan? So Cik Apple tak nak bayar. Kalau Bendy yang block, Bendy refuse to pay and Bendy jual tanah tu, Bendy yang tak boleh masuk lien holder caveat. Alright? Okay, so moving on to your cases. Okay, sekejap. My comments tadi. Okay. Next. Okay, this one okay. Okay. Then this correct. Okay, correct. Okay. Discussion of facts. That's the right to. Okay, very good. Okay, next. You can remove the private caveat if requested by Bendy. Yes, betul. Registrar can remove the private caveat sebab dia ada intention untuk lien holder caveat. Lagi satu kat sini you discuss lah. Okay, private caveat tu kan dah lebih daripada dah 6 tahun kan. Private caveat sebab private caveat tu 22 tahun. Probably at the time when Sawi enter into private caveat, okay, masa tahun 2000 tu ada factors yang allowable and then he forgot to remove kan. So you tambah dalam you punya written report. Okay. So next. The private will be lapsed. Okay, good. Okay, dalam my answer scheme yang issue you all nombor 3 ni sekali dengan nombor 2. But it's okay. If you want to remain this, I okay with it. Okay. Then I will look at how you explain in your written report. Okay. Okay, so yang ni pun I okay. Conclusion, sekejap The case of involves a loan agreement. Cik Apple is the borrower upon the creation beside Okay, betul. Ni betul-betul. Okay, betul. Alright. Bendy holds the IDT and can enter. Okay, that one okay. Betul. Bendy holds the IDT and can enter LHC. The LHC will restrain. Alright. So, good. Okay, this one betul. Alright. So, I tak ada other than that lah. Nak ni. And then I suka you all rephrase my words. Rephrase masa you all buat the discussion tu you ada rephrase which is I'm okay with it. Okay. Contoh kalau yang tadi pun you all tulis block kan, you ban his number. Okay lah, you all tukar-tukar which is okay. Okay, very good. So I'm pleased with your presentation. Okay. So any question? Any further question? The rest? Alright. Okay, sorry I silap schema answer tadi. Okay. Okay, so good.
Okay, Doctor.
Alright, thank you so much. Okay. So tadi pasal topik lien. Okay, kita move to next presenter.
Put storage shelf affixed to the walls by nuts and rubber processing machines that is affixed to the floor with bolts. So this agreement between Encik Limau and Bersih Sdn Bhd contains a retention title clause that state the ownership of the said item will remain with the lessor until full payment is made. And lessee had no rights to transfer of the ownership to third party without prior approval from the lessor. And then Encik Limau has defaulted on terms of the charge with Dusun Bank, and the Dusun Bank applied to the court to auction the property. Later, Bersih was notified of the auction and informed Dusun Bank to not include the storage shelf and machine because they claim to still retain the ownership due to the unpaid balance of Encik Limau, which is 100,000 ringgit to Bersih. But Dusun Bank disagreed and claimed the items are fixture and part of the land, which passed as the security to them along with the property. Sorry. So, for the issue that can be identified is whether the said item bought by Encik Limau are fixture or chattel, whether Bersih Sdn Bhd can retain the ownership of the said item, and whether the Dusun Bank can claim the said item passed as security along with the land. I will pass the next presentation to the next presenter.
So for the law applicable, it comprises of 6 items, which is Section 5, National Land Court. The second one is Holland versus Hodgson case. The third one, Goh Chon Kim versus the Consolidated Malay Rubber Estate. And the fourth one is exception to the general principle of fixture and chattel. The fifth one is effect of retention title clause. The sixth one is Sungai Valley Singh versus Lian Sang property. Next. So the land under Section 5 NLC, land includes all things attached to the earth or permanently fastened to anything attached to the earth, whether on or below the surface. And fixture is defined as immovable attachment to the land and it forms part of the land. Whereas for chattel, it is the vice versa definition where it is removable attachment to the land and does not form part of the land. According to Latin maxim, qui plantatur solo, solo sedit, which means whatever affixed to the soil belonged to the soil. According to Holland versus Hodgson case, the mill owner had purchased some of the loom to be used in his mill, where these looms were secured to the stone floor by nails driven into the wooden beams. And these looms are very simple to be removed. Thus, the court held said that the looms had become fixture and thus form part of the land mortgage. And therefore, according to Blackburn J has introduced the annexation test, which should be used to determine whether an item is a fixture or chattel. And therefore, there are three types of tests which can be used, which is the first one is degree of annexation test. Second one is objective of annexation. And the third one is the enjoyment and damage test. I will pass the next slide to the next presenter.
Now I will explain about Goh Chong Hin versus the Consolidated Malay Rubber Estate Limited. Goh Chong Hin charged his land, including building and factory. There was machineries installed and annexed by bolt and nuts to concrete foundation in the factory. The machine were set up after the land was charged. The chargee then took the possession of the land and factory due to the default payment by the charger. The charger wanted to sell the machinery in the factory. However, the sale was objected by the chargee, who argued that the machineries were part of the land. The court held English law of fixture applies in Malaysia, and the annexation test was applied. Then the machinery were fixture. In Sungai Way Leasing versus Lian Seng Properties, charger is the owner of KL Plaza had taken up a loan and charged the building to the bank. Later, a custom-made aircon unit was brought under hire purchase agreement and affixed to the building. In the hire purchase agreement, there are clause 11 provide that the lessor was to remain as the owner of the unit and lessee had no right to pass the title of the aircon to any third party. Then lessor sought to remove the aircon from the building, but chargee objected by contending that the removal will cause damage to the building. The court held, although the aircon unit was a fixture in nature, it was custom-made for the building. The court must give effect to the intention of the parties arising from the hire purchase agreement. Thus, the lessor has a better right to the aircon unit. The chargee was not entitled to the equipment affixed to the land as there was retention of title cost in favor of the lessor. I will pass to the next presenter.
Next, we go to the discussion and solution for our issues, which is the first one is whether the said items bought by Encik Limau are fixture or chattel. Okay, based on our discussion, the answer is the wood storage shelves and the rubber processing machine bought by Encik Limau are fixtures. And for the discussion, the case related are Holland versus Hodgson and also Goh Chong Hin versus the Consolidated Malay Rubber Estate, which is the annexation test was being used in determining whether the machineries are fixtures or chattels. And considering the definition of a fixture is a permanently fixed piece of furniture in a land, and the machineries are bolts and nuts affix the machineries. Hence, the machineries are fixtures and form a part of the land. Next.
Okay, as for the next issue is whether the Bersih Sidan Berhad can retain the ownership of the wood storage, shelves and the rubber processing machine. The answer is yes. Bersih Sidan Berhad can retain the ownership of the wood storage, shelves and the rubber processing machine. This is due to the retention title clause that is formed through the hire purchase agreement between Encik Limau and Bersih Sidan Berhad. So let's have a look on the statements that is stated in the hire purchase agreement. So the first statement is that the lessee, Encik Limau, had no right to pass title to any third party without the acknowledgement by the lessor. Hence, this statement allows the Besi Sudan Berhad to hold on to the ownership of the wood storage and the rubber processing machine title. Hence, in this case, Encik Limau will not have the right to transfer the ownership of the said items to Dusun Bank. And then the next statement is the ownership of storage shelves and machine will remain on the lessor, Besi Sudan Berhad, upon full settlement. So since there is still a sum of 100,000 to be paid by Encik Limau to Besi Sudan Berhad, hence Besi Sudan Berhad as the lessor has the right to claim over the said items. Next, I will pass to the next presenter.
For our third issues, which is whether the Dusun Bank can claim the wood storage shelves and the rubber processing machine as fixtures forming part of the land. The answer is no. Dusun Bank can claim the wood storage shelves and the rubber processing machine as fixtures. We can relate the issue to the Sungai Wen Leasing versus Liang Seng Properties, as the case shows that the exception in the fixtures and shutters principle, and the fact that Dusun Bank can't claim the machineries because there is a hire purchase agreement between Encik Limau and Besi, and it is stated in the clause 11 that provides Encik Limau had no right to pass the condition to any third party, which is the Dusun Bank, is act as the third party. And it also stated that in clause 11, the ownership of the storage shelves and machine will remain on the lessor until and upon full settlement, and the lessee had no right to pass title of the said items to any third party without prior acknowledgement by the lessor. Hence, our conclusion is the Dusun Bank can only ensure that Besi did not damage the property while removing the machineries from the building. Next, I will pass to our next presenter.
So, based on law and case applicable mentioned above, it can be concluded that Dusun Bank cannot claim the wood storage shelves and the rubber processing machine due to the exceptions in the principle of fixtures and shadows, which is a charger and chargee relationship between Encik Limau and Besi. Furthermore, Besi is able to retain the ownership of the wood storage and rubber processing machine due to the retention clause in the hire purchase agreement. And the last one is Dusun Bank can only make sure that Besi doesn't damage the property when taking out the machineries. So that's all from us. Thank you.
Alright, cantik slide. Okay, so you get the idea kan? So this one is similar to your mid-sum questions kan? Okay, cuma ada retention kan? Okay, come have a look at your legal issue. I ada few things je I nak apa? Ada few things you all kena correct sikit. Alright, so let's see the issues. Okay, so based on the questions, yang issue. Kejap. Okay. Wood storage shelves affixed to the walls by night. Affixed to the wall. Kan? Wall. S tu tak ada. Okay. Rubber processing machine affixed to the floor with bolts. Okay. Whether the seat items bought by are fixture or chattel. Okay, correct. Can retain, correct. Can claim, correct. Okay, very good. Now let's see the discussion. The law, okay lah. Okay. So the law, okay. Right. Okay, come have a look. Besarkan sikit boleh? Oh, tak apa. I besarkan my part lah. Okay. Whether the said items, the wood storage bought by Encik Limau are fixture. In this issue, the case related. Okay, later, when you answer your final exam, jangan buat the case related. You buat the case applied. Okay, ataupun the case referred to. Okay, ataupun with reference to the case of apa-apa nama case tu kan. Okay, referred REFERR. Okay, correctkan sikit je. Okay, double F tu buang. Preferred. Okay. Okay, the cases kan. You guna cases. Sebab ni you all punya exercise and presentation kan. So I macam particular sikit lah grammar ni. Okay, dalam final exam okay, I faham lah sebab you all laju-laju kan nak answer. Okay. Considering the definition in the fix. Okay, correct? Okay, very good. This one correct. Okay, discussion and solution. Whether besi can retain the ownership. Besi, due to retention title. Very good. I perasan you all underline tadi. Underline ke bold dalam you punya facts kan? Okay? Very good. So maksudnya you dah nampak dah dalam question tu kalau ada retention title clause you akan apply case Lian Seng. Lian Seng. Betul kan? Salah sebut. Betul lah Lian Seng, Sungai Wei. Okay, Sungai Wei Leasing and Lian Seng Properties. Okay. Kalau tak ada then you know that benda tu Dusun Bank boleh ambil. Okay. What hindered Dusun Bank from claiming the fixture because of this hire purchase agreement. Okay, ada retention title. Okay. This one okay, correct. Next, cannot claim. No, Dusun Bank cannot claim and the rubber as fixture. Okay, the issue can be applied. Okay, I nak tanya you all, mana you all dapat clause 11 tu? In clause 11. Yeah, in clause 11 provides Encik Limau had no right to pass the condition. Ada dalam questions ke clause 11? Ke you all ambil daripada my slide, clause 11? Kalau daripada my slide,
I think clause 11 tu actually for the Sungai Wei leasing.
clause
So
11
yeah.
tu adalah clause dalam hire purchase agreement Sungai Wei leasing case. Okay? So you jangan apply kat sini. Okay? Itu adalah fakta case dia. Okay? You just cakap macam ni je. By virtue. Okay? By virtue of. By virtue VIRTUE. Okay? By virtue of Sungai Wei leasing case. Okay? Cik Limau had no right to pass. Okay? Clause 11 tu delete. Ataupun you boleh buat by virtue of Sungai Wei leasing case and the fact consists of retention clause. Okay? Kan? Fakta you ada retention clause kan? Mana fakta you tadi? Sekejap. Okay. Has a retention title clause. Okay, so nanti bila you buat, you jawab soalan, okay, due to the fact that there is retention title clause, okay, and applying case apa-apa, alright, okay, so it cannot transfer, alright, can only ensure that besi did not damage, okay, alright, so other than that, okay, conclusion, nanti just you all betulkan balik sikit lah Dusun Bank cannot claim due to the exceptions, okay, correct, which is charger and charging relationship. Okay, nanti you punya conclusion sama juga ayat ni dengan ayat atas, okay. Apply balik the cases, okay, leasing, Sungai Wei leasing, Sungai Wei leasing and Lian Seng properties, okay. Okay, so other than that, okay, lain-lain semua correct, alright. Very good. Based on law and cases. Mana tadi yang last kali conclusion. Okay. Okay, yang ni you all betulkan sikit je lah grammar. Based on laws and cases. Tambah S. Alright. Other than that, okay. Alright. Very good. I like the idea, how you all present ni. So, baru boleh nampak. Kan? Okay, so you tambah sikit je dekat conclusion dengan yang discussion part tadi ya. Then you boleh wrap up, upload dalam link. Okay. So, okay. Alright. So, any further questions? No? No dia, no. Lapar dah. Okay. Alright. So, kita move on to next presenter. Okay, very good. Thank you. Group keberapa ni? Check dulu.
Group 6.
Group 6. Group 6. Kita ada lagi 3 group kan? After you all. Okay lah, so far I nampak you all good. Identification semua betul. Okay. So I hope you can okay lah, this is as a revision kan? So you all boleh jawab exam nanti.
Okay, Encik Lima has filtered a charge in favor of Dusun Bank. Sorry. Encik Lima has entered into a contract to sell his bungalow Puan Nona. Puan Nona told him that all of the items and furniture in the bungalow and on its compound shall be part of the subject matter in the sale. However, Encik Lima had disagreed and contended that the items and furniture will be removed by him and were not part of the sales and purchase transaction. With reference to National Land Court 1965 and decided cases, advised Puan Nona as to her right on the following. Can Puan Nona claim the purchase of the bungalow including all the items and furniture? Can Puan Nona include the following items as part of the subject matter in the sales and purchase transaction? A water fountain standing in the garden. Scroll down. All bricks and discarded office furniture found in the backyard of the bungalow, 5 stained glass lampshades attached to the ceiling by chance, and nuts which were birthday gifts from a friend, custom wood bookshelves which were screwed onto the walls, heavy-duty bottler storage rack which were located in the storeroom, a big screen TV that is hung on a bracket attached to custom decorative wall panels, and a large chest freezers which were on hire purchase from Kedai Buah Sendirian Berhad subject to the retention title clause in the parties' agreement. Our slide.
Okay.
Okay. We are from group 6, and our group member are Lam Jingyi, Liu Jiaying, Liu Waiteng, Nur Kamarina binti Salim, Nur Shaira binti Muhammad Shari, and Damason. Then we'll pass to Lam.
I will present about the legal issues. Encik Limau sold his bungalow to Puan Nona. The dispute arises because Encik Limau contended that the item and furniture in the bungalow were not part of the sales and purchase transaction and will be removed by him. Hence, it is needed to determine whether the item and the furniture are features that form part of the property and are included in the sales and purchase transaction, which is right of Puan Nona, and or chatter that do not form part of the property and can be removed, which is the right of Encik Limau. The items involved in the dispute are a water fountain standing in the garden, all brick and discarded office furniture found in the backyard of the bungalow, 5 stained glass lampshades attached to the ceiling by chance, and nuts, which were birthday gifts from a friend, custom bookshelf which were screwed onto the wall, heavy-duty bottles storage rack which were located in the storeroom, a big screen TV that is hung on a bracket attached to the custom decoration wall panel, and a large chest freezer which was on hire purchase from Kedai Buah Sendiri Berhad subject to retention title clause in the parties' agreement.
So
good morning to doctors and fellow friends. I am Liu Jing, and now I will present the part of legal application and related case law. So according to National Land Court Section 5D, fixture attached to wall or permanently fastened to the earth, whether on or below the surface. So the item affixed to the land become part of the land, and the title to the fixture is a part of and passes with the title to the land enters, whosoever on that pieces of land were also on the thing attached, and fixture is normally immovable and chattel is normally movable. There are 3 tests to determine whether the item is either a fixture or chattel, and the first test is degree of annexation, the second test is objective or purpose of the annexation, and the last test is enjoyment and damage test. So now we'll move to the related case law. The first case is Hobson versus Joris in 1897. So a gas engine owned by Hobson was bought by King in his land for the purpose of running a sawmill business. The judge was contemplating referring to circumstances which show the degree of annexation and the object of annexation, which were pattern for all to see and not to circumstance of a change agreement that might or might not exist between an owner and of a charter and a hirer. Second case is Holland versus Hodgson in 1872. Holland mortgaged the mill to Hodgson but failed to repay the loan. He requests to sell the loan inside the mill. After conducting the annexation test, the judge held that the installation of the loom has contributed to the operation of the mill, hence it was regarded as a fixture and part of the land. Next slide. The third case is Goh Chun Hing versus the Consolidated Malay Rubber Estates Ltd. The Consolidated Malay Rubber Estates Ltd as the chargee of Goh Chun Hing took the land and factory position due to the default payment. The court rejected the plaintiff's request to sell the land machinery. This is because the machinery is considered as the fixture of the factory, as it is affixed on the ground by additional support of board and nuts. Thus, the machinery fall under charges security.
Students kejap, I interfere kejap. Sebab dah nak 12.30 kan. Okay, you just read the name of the cases je. The facts of the cases tak payah.
Okay. So the fourth cases is Shell Co versus Commissioner of the Federal Capital of KL. So next I will pass to my group member.
I mean you read the name of the cases.
Yeah, the another remaining 4 cases will be presented by my member.
So the other related case law are Sovereign Co. Ltd. was against the chairman Kendall Carter.
LTD is limited.
And the next one is Waking Tips Sendirian Berhad against Bahagia Trading Sendirian Berhad. Another case is Sungai Ray Leasing against Langsam Properties, and the last case law refer is Material Trading Private Limited against TPF Finance Limited. So next.
To answer the question A, bond owner can claim the purchase of the bungalow, including all the items and furniture mentioned. For the water mountain standing in the garden, it is standing on its own swag and is removable without causing any tangible injury to the property, so it is considered as chattel. All bricks and discarded office furniture found in the backyard of the bungalow, they are merely resting on their own depth, and the removal will not cause any damage to the property, so it is the chattel. Then for the 5-cent glass lamp straps attached to the ceiling by chains and nuts, which were probably given from a friend, they were attached to the ceiling by chains and nuts with the intentions of permanent use. Besides, the removal will cause irreparable damage to the ceiling of the property, so it is considered as fixture. Next. Then for the custom wood bookshelf which screw onto the walls, they were designed and customized for the property and were screwed onto the wall with the intention of permanent use, and the removal will cause tangible injury to the property, so it is featured. Heavy-duty bottler storage rack which were located in a storeroom that rest on their web in the storeroom without any bolts or nuts, thus are removable without causing any damage to the property, so is chattel. A big screen TV that is hung on the bracket attached to the custom decorative wall panels. The TV is merely hung on the bracket that attached to the wall panels that is removable without any tangible injury to the property. But the bracket was attached to the wall panel and the removal will cause damage to the wall panels. So the TV is considered as chattel and the bracket is considered as a fixture. Next. Then for the large chest freezer which was on hire purchase from Kedai Buah Sendirian Berhad, subject to a retention title clause in the parties' agreement. It can be a fixture or charter depending on the situations, which retention clause and payment status. If there is an express retention clause in the agreement specifically mentions that the lessor, Kedai Buah, remains the owners of the freezer and lessee NZ Limau, cannot pass the title of the freezer to a third party if there is a default payment. Thus, if there is default payment by NZ Limau, then it is considered charter, and the freezer is still owned by Kedai Buah since NZ Limau has no right to pass the title of it to Puan Nona or any other third party. However, if there is no mentions of a retention clause stating that it cannot transfer to a third party, the freezer then is a fixture and belongs to Puan Nona if NZ Limau defaults payment, unless NZ Limau defaults payment for the freezer to Kedai Buah. Next, pass to the Shaira.
Hello, I'm Sarah. I will present about discussion of the law to the fact in question. A. Whether Puan Nona can claim the purchase of the bungalow, including all the items and furniture or not. Puan Nona can or cannot claim the purchase of the bungalow, including all the items and furniture. According to the National Land Code NLC Section 5 Sub D, all the things attached to the earth or permanently fastened to anything attached to the earth, whether on or below the surface. Something that is or become affixed to the land become part of the land. Hence, the title to the fixture is a part of the passage with the title to the land, and those whoever owns the piece of the land will also own the thing attached. Fixture immovable, chattel movable. Puan Nona can claim if the furniture or fixture and considered as a part of the land. However, if the furniture is considered as chattel, Puan Nona has no right to claim. B. Whether
to save time, kalau yang pasal law tu tak payah, you just apply je. I nak tahu how you nak apply. What's your answer, okay? Kita save time. Okay. So B ni, I ingat tadi dah sudah. Tadi tu dah betul dah. Okay, ada explanation lagi.
Lepas tu dia ada case pula.
Alright. So yang B ni, you just
Kata
apply.
ni.
Sebut je. So apa you punya answer tu?
Okay, untuk B, whether Puan Nona can include a water fountain standing in the garden as part of the subject matter in the sale and purchase transaction or not. Puan Nona cannot include the water fountain standing in the garden as part of the subject matter in the sale and purchase transaction. Given by the National Land Code NLC Section 5 Sub D, if the item rarely rests on its own weight, then it's a chattel. So, sampai situ je.
Okay, good. That's the reason kan? Okay. Yang ini okay lah, you put on your written report. I mean like for presentation, kita dah save time kan? You all nak lunch kan? Okay, yang
Okay.
Okay, very
Okay.
good. Okay, next. C.
Next, C. Whether Puan Nona can include a old brick and discard office furniture found in the backyard of the bungalow as part of the subject matter in the sales and purchase transaction or not. Puan Nona cannot include the old brick and the discard office furniture as part of the subject matter in the sales and purchase transaction. According to the National Land Code Section 5 Sub D, if the item may rest on its own weight, then it's considered as the chattel. Besides that, removal of the old bricks and discharge of office furniture will not cause any damage to the property and not be considered as a part of the land. Next, D. Whether Puan Nona can include a 5 stained glass lampshade attached to the ceiling by chains and nuts, which are birthday gift from a friend. Puan Nona can can include the 5 stained glass lampshade as a part of the subject matter in the sale and purchase transaction. Based on the National Land Code Section 5 sub D, if the item is attached or fastened to the floor or wall, then it is a fixture. If the irreparable damage will be caused to the item by removal, then it is a fixture. The lampshade were attached to the ceiling by chains and nuts with the intention of permanent use, so the removal will cause irreparable damage to the ceiling of the property. Next, I will pass to the Kamarina.
Next, for custom wood bookshelves, which were screwed onto the walls. Puan Nona can include the custom wood bookshelves as part of the subject matter in the sale and purchase transaction. The custom wood bookshelves were designed and customized for the property and were screwed onto the walls with the intention of permanent use, making the removal to cause tangible injury to the property. So the storage consisted of precast. No. I mean, in the case of Fin Co Ltd versus Chairman Klang Town Council, where the respondent took into account the bulk storage tanks standing thereon. The storage consisted of precast bottom, side, and roof steel plates, which were assembled and riveted on site to form the bulk storage tanks, and its removal will cause irreparable damage to the property. And the item is fixture and form part of the land. And for the heavy-duty boltless storage racks, Puan Nona cannot include the heavy-duty boltless storage racks as part of the subject matter in the sale and purchase transaction. This is because it is merely rests on its own weight and is considered as a chattel. The storage racks are not screwed or attached to the wall, so it is considered as a chattel. Next slide. For the big TV screen that is hung on a bracket attached to the custom decorative wall panels, Puan Nona cannot include a big screen TV as part of the subject matter in the sale and purchase transaction, as it is merely hung on the bracket attached to the wall panels, thus it is removable. However, Puan Nona can include the bracket as part of the subject matter as it is attached to the custom decorative wall panels, and the removal will cause damage to the wall panels. For the large chest freezer, which was on hire purchase from Kedai Buas near Berhad, subject to a retention title clause in the parties agreement, Puan Nona may or may not include the large chest freezer as part of the subject matter in the sale and purchase transaction, depending on the situation. If there is an express retention clause in the agreement, specifically mentions whether the lessor Kedai Buas remains the owner of the freezer and lessee in Limau can or cannot pass the title of the freezer to a third party if there is a default payment. And that's all. Next, for conclusion, Lou will explain.
To conclude, the issue is to determine whether the items and furniture mentioned are fixtures which form part of the sales and purchase transactions under right of Puan Nona or are chattels, which are be removed and not included in the sales and purchase transactions under right of NZ Limau. According to the legal principles, provisions of law, and case law, Puan Nona has the right to claim the purchase of the bungalow, including all the items and furniture. The lampshades, bookshelves, and bracket are fixtures which forms part of the sales and purchase transactions and are belong to Puan Nona, whereas the water fountains or brick discarded office furniture, storage racks, and TV are chattels, and thus can be removed by NZ Limau. For the freezer, whether it belongs to Puan Nona or Kedai Buas, detailed information is needed. That's all. Thank you.
Alright, very good. Okay, I memang intentionally buat soalan tu gitu tau. So you all boleh identify and explain more than what I expect. Okay, come. Let's have a look on your legal issue is correct. Okay, tengok legal issue tapi panjang you all punya explanation. Okay, my tips. Okay, later kalau you nampak soalan macam ni kan, ada I Roman sampai 7 Roman. Okay. Dia punya discussion of the law tu, you just put dalam A sahaja. Okay. Dalam A kan you dah letak semua pasal undang-undang apa semua. Okay, lepas tu A tu kan Puan Nona can claim the purchase of the bungalow including all the items and furniture. Kan? If that is fixtures. So kalau B ada 1 Roman sampai bawah, usually setiap Roman tu markah dia dalam 2 markah sahaja. So kat sini you ada 7 Roman kan? 7 Roman kali 2, so 14 markah. So the rest of dia 25 tolak 14, 11 markah. 11 markah datang daripada question A. Alright. So B ni, B Roman ni, untuk Roman ni you just terus apply je based with reference to case apa kan, provision apa jawapan dia. So yang tadi you all punya discussion on the laws dengan facts tu very good. Okay, very good. I ingat dia dah dekat summary facts ni dah okay dah betul dah tu. Oh, ada lagi discussion. Okay, then very good lah. I can see you all understand. Okay, now let's see setiap satu. So the first issue betul, Puan Nona can claim if all the items is fixtures, kan? Alright, can include in the purchase transaction. Okay, kejap I zoom in from my end. Okay. Okay, first one. Okay, first one betul. A water fountain standing. Okay, Puan Nona cannot include, betul. Alright, fountain standing sebab Encik Limau boleh remove it on its own. Okay, so tambah sikit pasal Encik Limau. Kat sini I perasan you duk cerita pasal Puan Nona. What's the right of Encik Limau? Okay, so Encik Limau pun boleh remove, tambah pendek je. Okay, the rest I okay. Very good. C. All bricks and discarded office furniture found in the backyard of the bungalow. Okay, kat sini you all tambah. Backyard of the bungalow is part of the compound of the bungalow. Kan? Compound of the property. Tengok balik you all punya questions. You all tak payah buka. I buka kat sini. Okay. Kan dia kata kat sini Puan Nona told him that all of the items and furniture in the bungalow and on its compound. Okay, so first, you cerita dulu. Benda ni found in the backyard of the bungalow. Backyard of the bungalow duduk dalam compound of the bungalow. Okay, tapi since this is chattels, okay, these are chattels, then Puan Nona cannot include it. Alright? Okay, so D. So yang ni you adjust sikit, correct sikit saja. Okay, D5 stained glass lampshades attached to the ceiling by chain and nuts which were birthday gifts from a friend. Okay, kat sini pun tambah sikit. Birthday gifts from a friend. Okay, kalau under exception of a chattel, okay, it's a dia under landlord pula. Sorry. It's under kejap I lupa lah. For personal use. Okay, for personal use. Okay, so birthday gifts from a friend is for Encik Limau's personal use. Kan? However, due to the stained glass lampshades is attached to the ceiling by chain and nuts, it's become fixture. So Puan Nona can include. Okay, so tambah sikit. Alright? Okay, next. Next, E. Oh, tulisan dia kecil. Puan Nona can, kejap. Okay. Puan Nona can include the custom wood bookshelves based on the item is, okay, very good. Okay, custom wood which was screwed. Okay, screw memang fixture. Bawah tu heavy duty boardless storage rack. Okay, boardless kan? So tak ada board kan? Okay, then this one okay, good. Next. G. A big screen TV that is hung on a bracket attached. Okay, I tak expect lah you all nak cerita pasal bracket. Very good. Tapi memang intentional I letak macam tu. So very good, you separate kan. So TV is chattel, bracket is fixture. So kalau you all dapat question macam ni, kena tengok betul-betul. Alright? Sama macam yang screwed tadi. Okay, the last one. The last one, large chest freezer. Okay, this one was okay. This one I okay. Okay, and I like your wording. Okay, very good sentence here. Puan Nona may or may not include. Sama macam you punya conclusion. Okay, tengok conclusion. Okay, I suka ayat you all yang mana tadi? Ni. For the freezer, whether it belongs to Puan Nona or kedai buah, detailed information is needed. Okay, very good. So, this one, you nampak lah kan, the identification. So, okay, I'm very happy with your presentation. Sebab I memang intentionally buat soalan tu gitu, tak sangka you all dapat identify kan. So very good. So this is how you nak answer on your final examination. Okay, cuma yang ni for your report, bolehlah buat panjang-panjang macam ni. Tapi kalau you punya final exam kan nak save time kan. So you explain semua undang-undang tu dalam question yang A, yang B ni terus apply je. Okay? Alright, thank you so much everyone.
Thank you, Doktor.
So ubah sikit then boleh upload je dalam submission. Okay? Okay?
Okay.
We go for next presenter. Next presenter group 8. Is it group 8? Ada lagi 2. Ingat ada lagi 1 je. Group 8. Project 3 question 3. Right. Ni apa? Fixture and chattel juga. Okay? Alright, you may begin your presentation. Okay, baca questions. Lepas tu nanti kalau you punya discussion law tak payah explain the fakta tu. You sebut nama cases je. Okay?
Selamat sejahtera to lecturer and my friends, and my name is Sam, and my roommates are Piling, Yiling, Shian, and Registry and Zhaolong. We are here this morning to discuss and resolve the dispute arise between the Dev Sindra Mahat and Dusun Bank in regard with the ownership of the offset printing machine and the Bolus heavy duty rack. Dean will commence the discussion with the summary of facts. Sorry. I forgot to read the questions. Okay. Mawar is the owner of the construction company. He bought an offset printing machine and a bolus heavy duty rack from Dev Sendirian Berhad for the price of 50,000 ringgit to be placed in his office. A hire purchase agreement has signed by both parties in 2nd of January 2022. Out of the total sum of 50,000 ringgit Malaysia, a sum of 10,000 ringgit Malaysia was still owing to the Dev Sendirian Berhad by Mawar. On 1st of June 2012, the premises of the company was charged by the Mawar to Dusun Bank as a security for the loan amounting to 200,000 ringgit Malaysia. Mawar defaulted in payment, and in October 2022, Dusun Bank commenced proceeding to auction the property. Dev Sindra Mahat was notified about the auction, and they made an application to release the printing machine and the heavy duty rack to them. This was because they claimed to be owners of the same machine and the rack. Dusun Bank, however, argued that the machine and the heavy-duty rack were affixed to the floor of the premise and therefore form part of the land of which they were the chargee. Advise Dusun Bank whether the right as a chargee will be protected and who has the priority to retain the ownership of the machine and the rack.
Okay, let's see your presentation. Very good, you highlight. Nanti you all final exam bawa lah highlight siap-siap kan. Terus highlight mana keyword. Okay.
So yeah.
Alright, you may
wait for
begin.
moments. Okay.
Okay, this is the summary. This is the summary of facts of the case. Firstly, Mawar bought an offset printing machine and a bolus heavy-duty rack from DF Sendirian Berhad. A hire purchase agreement was signed by both parties on 2nd January 2022. Mawar still owing 10,000 ringgit out of the total sum of 50,000 ringgit to DF Sendirian Berhad. Then, Mawar charged the premise of the company to Dusun Bank as a security for a loan amounting to 200,000 ringgit. After that, Dusun Bank commenced a proceeding to auction the property due to Mawar default in payment. DF Sendirian Berhad made an application to release the printing machine and the heavy duty rack to them. Lastly, Dusun Bank argued that the machine was form part of the land of which they were the chargee. Then I will pass to Hui Ling.
Now I'm going to present about the legal issues. The first legal issue is whether the printing machine and the boltless heavy-duty rack are fixture or chattel. According to the question, Marwah brought the machine and rack from DS Sdn Bhd and placed them into his office. Marwah also charged his premise to Dusun Bank. However, Marwah defaulted his loan payment, therefore Dusun Bank commenced a proceeding to auction the property. They claim that the machine and rack are fixture and belongs to the part of land. In this case, the machine and rack need to be identified whether they are fixture or chattel in order to determine whether it forms a part of land. The second issue is whether Dusun Bank has right as the chargee will be protected. According to the question, as Marwah bought the machine and rack from DS Sdn Bhd and signed a hire purchase agreement with them, Marwah is lessee and DS Sdn Bhd is lessor. In addition, Marwah had charged the premise to Dusun Bank as a security for a loan, therefore Marwah is charger while Dusun Bank is chargee. In this case, the charger-chargee relationship is built. Hire purchase agreement is the main point in order to identify whether the chargee's right will be protected. The third issue is whether Dusun Bank has the priority to retain the ownership of the machine and rack. According to the question, Marwah had owned RM10,000 to DS Sdn Bhd for purchase the machine and rack. Moreover, Marwah also defaulted the loan payment. Both DS Sdn Bhd and Dusun Bank said that they are the owner of the machine and rack. In this case, it's important to solve the first and second legal issue in order to know who is the ownership of the machine and rack. Next, I will pass to Xian.
Regarding the law applications, under Section 5 of the NLC, the land can be defined as the surface of the earth as well as earth below the surface and include all the components that is permanently affixed to the earth, including vegetations or other natural products, as well as items made by humans, either above or below the earth's surface. And it is essential to determine what constitutes as the fixture and chattel in order to determine whether the items form part of the land. Next. And there is the general principle of fixture and chattels. We state that something that is affixed to the land is to be considered as part of the land. Hence, when
Okay, student.
proven,
Yang ni kita skip, okay? So you all clear kan on the law? Alright, so you sebut 3 test saja. 3 test. Lepas tu moving on.
Okay. Under the principle of fixture and chattel, there are three tests to determine whether an item is chattel or fixture. First, the degree of annexation test. There are two presumptions under this test which, if the item affixed to the land even slightly by any means other than its own weight, is considered as fixture, whereas if the item attached to land only by its own weight, it is considered as chattel. Second, purpose of annexation test. There are also two presumptions under this test. In case the item is there for the permanent use purpose or fixed to increase the value of the land, it is considered as fixture, whereas item is there for the temporary use or is for the purpose to have a better enjoyment, it is considered as chattel. Third, the damage test. The removal of the item will result in physical or conceptual damage. It is considered as fixture. However, if the removal of the item does not result in damage, it cannot presume that it is the chattel but look at its purpose. Next. However, there is always the exceptions to this general principle of fixture and chattel, and one of them is the charger and chargee relationship. All the fixtures fixed to the lands belongs to the lands and as part of security, provided there is a written agreement with an express provision. The express provision regarding the nature of the fixture and specify the limitations imposed on the ownership of the fixture, and the fixture will pass with ownership. With the assistance of such express provision, the title of the goods remain vested in the lessor until fully paid by the lessee. And there are two common cases regarding the charger and chargee relationship. Next. In the Wijin Tet Malaysia Sdn Bhd against Bahagia Trading Sdn Bhd, in this case, the property was charged to the bank, which include the printing machines that bought under the hire purchase agreement. And then the machines was affixed to the floor by bots. When the charger fails to do the payments to the bank, the property passed to the bank. In this case, the court held that the court will look at the degree of the annexations. Thus, the printing machines form part of the land as it is affixed to the land by bot, and therefore the chargee has prior claims over the machines. The charges got the offset printing machines as they have no acknowledgements on the printing machines owned by the owner and it was not fully paid yet. If there is an existing of the retention clause, it must give notification as security to the owner. Next. However, in contrast, in the Sungai Way leasing against Lianseng Properties, the owner who is the charger took a loan and charged the buildings to the bank. Later, he brought the custom-made air conditioning under hire purchase agreements with retention clause. In this retention clause, the owner of the air conditioning remains to the lessor until full payment was made. And in this case, the court held that although the air conditioning unit was fixture in nature on the land, but the lessor has the better right to the air conditioning unit because of the retention clause that prohibit the items to be passed to the third party who is the chargee, the bank. The only right that the charges can claim is that the lessor cannot damage the premise while removing the equipment. Next, I'll pass to my members to discuss on the solution.
Okay, based on the first issue described, the nature of the offset printing machine and the bullets heavy-duty right from the Def Sdn Bhd in terms of fixture and chattel have been discussed because it will interest who has a right to attend the articles. First and foremost, degree of annexation test can be carried out to determine the extent to which an article is affixed or attached to a land, whether it's strongly or weakly attached, or whether it is resting on its own weight on the land. The offset printing machine can be allocated on the specific spot in the construction company office via a few specialty moving types of equipment such as lifting jacks, gantries, forklifts, airbags, and cranes. The article will be being rested on the surface of floor without any requirement of bolts and nuts since that it is extremely heavy and capable to support by its own weight. The activity of screwing can be omitted since that it can cause damage to the floor slab and the floor finishes. The bootless heavy-duty rack shares the same characteristic with the printing machine too. It is easy to be installed and it does not have bolts and nuts and can be installed with bare hands. It is easily latched onto the side frame bar and the user can select the level which he or she wishes to secure relying on the items that are located on it. Thus, the rack and the printing machine can be preserved as chattel. Seconds. Purpose of annexation test can be conducted to strengthen the result of the test as mentioned above. This test contains two presumptions. I just skip it. And then wait. The offset printing machine is purchased and installed in the office for the convenience of staff to print out the contract documents, project drawings, meeting notice, and so on. The boltless heavy-duty rack serves to provide a venue for staff to keep the files or contract documents for a certain period. Marwa's first response on the intention of fetching is very important in identifying the articles either belongs to fixture or chattel. Okay, next. Third will be enjoyment and the mesh test can be carried out. The offset printing machine can be conveyed using lifting light as described before, and the professional individuals can be hired for conveyancing to prevent any damage to the floor and the article itself. Whereas for the rack can be dismantled with bare hands in a careful way. Adjustable stainless steel folding step ladder can be used to reach a greater height for the convenience of dismantling the top part of the rack towards supporting parts. So next. Rajashree.
Okay, next will be the legal issues. The second legal issue is about the protection of Dusun Bank's right as a chargee. Here the charger was Marwa, chargee is Dusun Bank. Charge can be described as a security dealing or transaction. In order to safeguard the Dusun Bank's interest, statutory charge shall be implemented toward the Marwa for the loan with the company premises as security. So Dusun has the right as chargee for the office and all fixtures except the printing machine and rack. The third one. The third legal issue is the priority to retain the ownership by the Dusun Bank. Marwa had owed 10,000 to the DEF Sendirian Berhad, while also defaulted on the loan payment towards the Dusun Bank. So the first solution, the legal solution, was clearly explained and proved that the both printing machine and heavy duty rack are chattels. There is a higher purchase agreement was made between them, shows the Marwa retained as owner until settlement of payment, and then it will belong to the DEF Sendirian Berhad. Thus, Dusun Bank has no priority to own those things.
As a conclusion, there are three legal issues found in this case. Firstly, the legal issue is whether the printing machine and the heavy-duty rack are feature or chapter. Both are chapter. It is based on three tests. The first test is the degree of annexation test. In this case, both are attached to the land only by its own weight, therefore it is chapter. The second test is the purpose of the annexation test. Both items were purchased for the purpose of better enjoyment, and thus it will be classified as chapter. The third test is the enjoyment and the damage test. Both items will not cause any physical or conceptual damage to the land. Secondly, the legal issue is whether the Dusun Bank has the right as the chargee will be protected. In this case, since the printing machine and the heavy-duty rack are the extent of feature, the Dusun Bank does not have the right as the chargee. Thirdly, the legal issue is whether the Dusun Bank has the priority to retain the ownership of the machine and the rack. The Dusun Bank cannot become the owner of the printing machine and heavy-duty rack. Furthermore, Marwa also owns 10,000 ringgit to the DEF Sendiri Berhad. Thus, both items belong to DEF Sendiri Berhad and not to Dusun Bank. And that's all. Thank you.
All right, very, very good. I like your supporting verbal explanation. I know you tak tulis dekat slide, but your supporting verbal explanation is very, how to say, very comprehensive. Okay. Come check the issue. Other than typo, okay, typo, the rest too I okay. You deliver more than what I expect. Okay, only for typo, mana tadi? Slide you all? Okay, typo on general principle test. Okay, let's see the slide general principle test. Okay, here presumption kan? Presumption tak ada 2 S Presumption 1 S. Okay, kita betulkan ya. Okay, lagi satu. Slide exception. Exception. Sebelah dia. Okay. Yang ni. Mana I nampak ada typo tu? Okay, title. Okay, title 1 T sahaja. Okay. Okay, so let's see your legal issue. Okay. Okay, sebelah dia. Okay, I'm very pleased with your presentation you buat macam ni. Very good. Okay, so kita nampak kan, senang. Isu 1, isu 2, isu 3, tiga-tiga correct. Okay, whether the printing machine and heavy duty rack is fixture or chattel, good. Whether Dusun Bank has the right as a chargee will be protected. Whether Dusun Bank has a priority to retain the ownership of the machine and the rack. Okay, so goes back to your conclusion. Solutions ni semua okay. Especially your verbal explanation. I noticed tadi kan, Rajeshri, Sam Yu Hong, Hui Lin, okay. You punya supporting explanation very good. You can use it for your, to complete your written report. So issue 1, okay, great. Okay, semua okay. Okay, great. Okay, very, very good. So you nampak kan? So you get the idea kan? So this is how you are going to answer your your final exam. Okay? Other than the typo error, the rest are okay. I'm very happy with your explanation. Okay? Thank you so much. Very good. Especially your verbal explanation. And the part solutions you explain lebih kan. I suka you relate balik sebab this is construction company. Okay, and then you relate balik construction company's office kan, very good. Okay, sometimes student, kalau final exam tak apalah, I boleh overlook. Sometimes for your coursework, tinggal fakta-fakta yang lain. You nampak yang right tu je, you nampak printing machine je kan. So this one very good. Okay, keep it up. Right, so next presenter. Next presenter, group group 3. Group 3. Okay, the rest yang dah habis edit tu, your slides, boleh terus upload je dekat submission kan? Okay. Cuma jangan buang lah, nanti PDF kan support bawah you punya written report. Okay, let's see group 3. Kenapa kecil? You all kecil ke yang kecil I punya okay, normal Zoom. So after you ada lagi satu group kan? Okay, sempat kan sebelum 1:30? Okay. Do you minimize ke? Cuba you maximize Canva tu. Right. Okay, ada questions tak? Kalau tak ada, I share.
Ada, Doktor.
Ada, okay.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and good afternoon to Ms. Shahira and others friend. We are from group 3 and our questions are, okay, enter into a lease agreement on 1st January 2000.
Okay, next time, student, don't put all, semua huruf besar ya.
Okay.
Huruf besar kan. So, sentences punya wording. Sama macam you punya written report nanti buat justified I tak nak yang ada center, ada macam ni, no, you just buat justified. Okay, macam cantik kan, kemas je. Alright? Okay, ni tak apa, you boleh explain.
Okay, enter into a lease agreement on 1st January 2021 over a piece of land at Mukim Kedawang, Langkawi, registered in the name of Teratai. She rears poultry on the said land. The distance from the leased land to the main road is about 2,000 meters. An army training ground is situated adjacent to the land. To the left of his land is the land registered in the name of Datuk Cactus. Teratai had told her that for the past 20 years, she had been using a path across Datuk Cactus' property in order to go to main road, and so far he had never objected to it subject to only pass over without vehicle. According to Teratai, her late mother had paid a sum of money to Datuk Cactus, but no instrument was registered for the creation of an easement. Accordingly, Orchid on various occasions has used the path over Datuk Cactus property to transport her poultry to the market by van and sometimes by lorry. However, on Tuesday, she was surprised when Datuk Cactus refused to allow Orchid to use the said path. Orchid dissatisfied with Datuk Cactus' action and she came to you to seek for advice. Assuming you are working with the land office, advise Orchid whether Datuk Cactus can deny her right to use the path and what can she do to ensure her right to pass over the land is protected. So I will pass to Arisha to explain about the next slide.
Okay, for the next slide is summary of the case. On 1st January 2021, Orchid leased the land from the Teratai for her poultry. The rented land is 2,000 meters from the main road and located beside the Datuk Cactus registered land. For 20 years, Teratai had used a road across Datuk Cactus land to get the main road, but without any vehicle use. This is because Datuk Cactus already stated no vehicle use to Teratai. Teratai Lake Mother has paid Dato' Cactus, but no easement instrument was registered. Orchid has crossed Dato' Cactus land by van and lorry transport, her poultry which is forbidden. Dato' Cactus disallowed orchid access to the road. Next. Okay. For the summary of this case, the following issues arise: whether Dato' Cactus can deny Orchid's right to use PATH, whether Teratai registered easement with Dato' Cactus legally, whether Teratai orally dealing with Dato' Cactus is valid for Orchid. Here we can see that dominant land is the Orchid land and silver land is the Dato' Cactus land. Next slide, I will pass to the next presenter, Ildina Nasuha.
Okay, so I will explain on the law and application. First is NLC section 282 regarding with easement. Easement is a privilege or right given to the owner of a piece of land, dominant land, over land owned by another, servient land. This issue is also related with NLC section 286 regarding with easement registration, where easement must be registered in order to be effective. If it is not registered, dominant land owners' interests will not be protected. Lastly, this issue relates with NLC section 288 regarding with extent of easement, which relates with right of footway. In this NLC, any person from dominant land may pass and repass over the servient land without animals and vehicles. To relate the issue with this NLC, Orchid has violated this section by crossing the land with transportation to get to the main road. Okay, that is all from me. I will pass to the next presenter.
Okay, next, I will explain examples of cases that related to this question. The first is Re Ellenborough Park, 1956, which highlights on the 4 requirements in order to create an easement. The first requirement is that there must be dominant and servient lands, and it must be of 2 different persons, which is Orchid and Dato' Cactus. Next, the easement must then accommodate or benefit the dominant land. And the 4th requirement is the right must be able to become the subject of a grant. Okay, next example is Datin Siti Hajar versus Murugasu case. That highlighted in order for an easement to be effective, it must be registered. However, in this question, the registered easement only extends between Teratai and Dato' Cactus only, not between Orchid and Dato' Cactus. The third case is Alfred Templeton versus Lloyd Holdings, Sdn Bhd and Anno 1989. In this case, it stated that there must be evidence that the parties agreed to provide the right for easement. However, in this question, that there is no easement instrument or any evidence between Orchid and Dato' Cactus orally agreement. Okay, that's all. Next, I will pass the conclusion part to Chi Ying.
In conclusion, Orchid never officially registered an easement with Dato' Cactus where under section 268 National Land Code stated that the easement must be registered to be effective. Considering the facts and laws stated above, Dato' Cactus has the right to deny Orchid's rights to pass on his land. Due to previously, Dato' Cactus only gave Teratai oral permission to pass around his land. Therefore, in order for Orchid to protect her rights to pass across the land, she is required to carry out the proper registration procedure at the land office in order to be granted the right of easement. That's all for our presentation. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Okay. Overall, okay. I'm okay. Semua okay. Cuma tak cukup explanation saja, which I'm looking forward for your written report. Okay. So let's see your issue. Okay, issue you kena ubah sikit. I get you get the idea. Comel je letak contoh kat bawah. Bagus. That's very nice. Okay. Actually kalau you all nak buat macam tu dekat nanti kan jawab exam kan, you buat tanah, you sebab nak buat reference kan, boleh je, I okay je. Alright? So you tulis atas tu kan, then baru bawah tu you buat isu kan, fakta ke apa, right? When you answering your questions pun boleh. Okay, so you punya isu ni ubah sikit my dear. Whether Dato' Cactus, kejap I buka soalan dekat belah I. Once okay, whether okay. First issue, okay betul. Whether Dato' sebab you punya question macam ni kan. Advise Orchid whether Dato' Cactus can deny her right to use the path and what can she do to ensure her right to pass over the land is protected. Okay. First, whether Dato' Cactus can deny Orchid's right to use path across Dato' Cactus property. Okay. Ditambah across Dato' Cactus property. Kan? Sebab kalau dia tak pas je, pas apa? Okay, pas apa? Right, Dato' Cactus ada cross property as Dato' Cactus kepunyaan. Okay, second, whether Terata registered easement with Datos. Okay, this one, you buat wording macam ni. Whether there is a creation of registered easement. Okay, whether there is a creation of registered easement between Teratai and Dato' Cactus. Ataupun kalau tak nak between pun tak apa, registered easement sahaja. Pun boleh. Okay, kalau you punya ayat tadi, Teratai registered easement with Dato' Cactus legally, dia jadi maksud lain tau. Maksudnya macam Dato' Cactus ni paling macam state authority. You registered legally dengan dia. Okay, wording pun main peranan. Okay, tapi kalau final exam, as long as it makes sense, okay lah, I boleh terima. Tapi practice, okay? Using such word macam ni. The third one, whether Teratai orally dealing with Dato' Cactus is valid for Orchid. Ni maksudnya apa Whether Teratai orally dealing with Dato' Cactus is valid for Orchid. What do you mean by this?
Okay, macam kan dah 20 tahun lepas Dato' Cactus ada buat deal dengan Teratai. So, yeah, in this case kan dah macam Orchid yang take over the land. So, macam apa yang diorang deal tu dah tak valid. Valid ke tak valid untuk Orchid?
Okay. Wording tu you buat macam the first one. Whether there is a creation of valid easement ataupun registered easement between Teratai and Dato' Cactus. Okay. Ataupun kalau yang macam ni you stop sampai valid je. Valid. For Orchid tak payah. Whether Teratai is orally dealing with orally dealing orally dealing. Boleh lah. I can accept lah. Okay. Ataupun you buat whether there is a creation of a registered easement between Teratai, between, dah masuk isu nombor 2 lah. Okay. It's valid. Okay lah, boleh. I boleh accept lah. Okay, cuma I tak comfortable dengan wording tu. So, kalau you dapat soalan exam nanti, okay, you gabungkan je. Okay, isu nombor 3 dengan isu nombor 2. Okay, kalau macam ni, kalau I tengok lah, student jawab macam ni, usually kalau I tengok, okay, 2 dengan 3 dia make sense, okay lah, I just buat, okay, this one kira satu isu. Alright? Okay, lepas tu, content, dekat solution. Okay, solution. Your solution mana? Dalam ni. Conclusion. Solution, discussion. Okay, you punya slide conclusion ni, okay. This is actually discussion. Okay, slide you ni discussion tau. Conclusion tu, I faham you nak buat jadi conclusion, cuma I lost dekat discussion you. Okay, discussion atas tu explanation cases kan? Okay, so nanti dalam you punya written report, make sure lepas you explain law, ada part discussion and solution, then baru comes to conclusion. Okay, conclusion you tu simplified daripada the gist you dapat daripada discussion dengan issues. Okay, sekejap. Buka balik dekat conclusion you all tadi. that the easement must be registered, correct? Datuk Ketis has the right due to previously only gave the writer oral permission to pass around his land. Therefore, in order, okay, good. This one untuk second issue bawah tu kan? Okay. So I'm looking forward for your explanation further dalam written report. Okay. Bila you punya discussion tu, you jangan gabungkan. Sebab the first one is about whether Datuk Cactus can deny or not. Okay, the right of Datuk Cactus. Second, what can Orchid do? Alright, what Orchid do? First, okay, what Orchid do? First, she can use the path, okay, without lorry lah. Okay, yang tadi Irdina sebut kan, Irdina relate to the extent of easement. Okay, when Orchid had tadi, okay, oh Allah, okay, when Orchid use lorry, okay, you relatekan dengan extent of easement dalam you punya written report. Explanation Dina tadi okay. Okay, so boleh tambah lagi, emphasize lagi. Lepas tu second, if Orchid want to use, okay, to use the path over Datuk Cactus property, what she can do? She can register the easement. Okay, she request for the, she request teratai to register the easement. Sebab registration for easement can be done by the registered proprietor. Okay, so teratai. Alright. Okay, the rest okay. To carry out the proper registration procedures. Okay, ni untuk conclusion boleh, I boleh accept simple macam tu. Tapi you punya discussion part, you kembangkan lagi. Alright? Alright. Okay. So, any question? Any further questions? Tak ada? Tak ada. Alright. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, but at least you get the gist, I'm happy. Alright. So nanti improve sikit dalam you punya written report. Okay? Okay, moving on. Next group. Last group Group 2. Okay, last group Questions number?
Project question 1.
Okay, now let's see what you prepare.
I read the question first, right? Puan Cactus is the registered proprietor of piece of land by the seaside in Langkawi. Bunga is the registered proprietor adjacent to Puan Cactus held under HSM 1734 GM number 1177, Lot 100 Mukim Kedawang, Langkawi. Bunga has an existing access to the seashore via public road. However, the road to the seashore via the public road takes a longer distance, which is 2-3 km from her land. Due to that reason, Bunga decided to make Puan Cactus and apply for easement to the seashore across Puan Cactus land. Puan Cactus initially agreed to grant easement to Bunga subject to only pass over without vehicle, and the easement was registered on 1st January 2020. Subsequently, Puan Cactus noticed that Bunga had never used the path across the land to access to the seashore since the movement control order enforced on 2020 in Malaysia and was uplifted. Puan Cactus assuming that the easement was abandoned for more than a year, therefore she decided to cancel the easement granted to Bunga. One day, Bunga wished to pass over Puan Cactus land by car to access to the seashore, however was denied vehemently by Puan Cactus. Later on the same day, Puan Cactus made an application to Mahkamah Tinggi to cancel the easement. Bunga dissatisfied with Puan Cactus' action and she came to you to seek for advice. Assuming you are working with the land office, advise Bunga on her right for easement and whether Puan Cactus has a chance to win the application at Mahkamah Tinggi.
Okay, you are putting difference sikit kan? Okay, ada to cancel. Okay, let's see. Alright, you may begin your presentation.
So, Assalamualaikum. We are from Group 2, which consists of Nisa, Sherina Alfian, Muhammad Aulia Rafiq, Nurin Hazira, Nuri Ika Fatihah, and me myself, Wano Asila. So, I'll first with presentation. So, for summary of case and legal issue, so first, I have identified which is Puang Cactus is a Servian landowner and Bunga is a dominant landowner, which is Puang Cactus is registered proprietor of land by the seaside of Langkawi, and Bunga is registered proprietor adjacent to Puang Cactus land and has existing access to the seashore via public road. So Bunga applied for easement to the seashore across Servian land. It is because she wants to shorten the distance by 2 to 3 kilometers from her land to the seashore. And Puang Cactus has agreed to the easement, but subject to only pass without vehicles. And this easement has been registered on 1st January 2020. Puang Cactus thought that the easement has been abandoned since MCO on 2020 till it was uplifted and decided to cancel the easement. However, one day, Bunga suddenly want to pass over Puang Cactus land by car, and Puang Cactus denied the access vehemently. And on the same day, Puang Cactus applied for easement cancellation to the Mahkamah Tinggi. So for the legal issue, there will be 3 legal issues, which is the first one is whether Bunga has her right for the easement, which is to pass over Puang Cactus land. The second, whether Bunga can pass over Puang Cactus land by vehicles. And the third one is whether Puang Cactus has a chance to win the application at Mahkamah Tinggi, which is regarding the cancellation. So I will pass the presentation to the next presenter.
Okay, law case applicable. The name case Re-Ellenborough Park 1956. The issue whether granting someone the use of a park as a part of purchase creates an easement or property right over the park, and more generally, what must be present on for an easement for to exist.
Permission for even for full control of it. So according to the order legal right were violated, they were entitled to the compensation. In order to get the essential property rights, the claimant wanted their right to be recognized as an easement rather than a license, which then does not entail such right. So the key point of this case is to outline the requirement that must be fulfilled for a land right to qualify as a legal easement.
So the section applied for these cases is section 282 NLC, where the court held the easement and outlined the condition for the granting for an easement. There are 4 requirements necessary for the creation of an easement. First, there is a dominant and a servient tenement. Second, the easement must accommodate or give advantage to dominant land. Third, dominant and servient owner must be of 2 different persons. And fourth, the right must be capable of forming the subject matter of grant.
For the applicable law, is includes section 282, any right granted by one proprietor to another in his capacity as a registered owner of the land and for the beneficial enjoyment of his land in accordance with the provision of NLC. For the section 283 sub 1 sub 8, an affirmative easement or positive easement give the dominant owner the right to do something. And for the section 280 NLC, right for easement must be expressly created and must be registered.
Section 288 sub A NLC, right of footway, any person from the dominant land may pass and repass over the sovereign land without animal and vehicle. For the Section 291 NLC, cancellation by the registrar where one party no longer give his consent.
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 Okay.
For the conclusion, first issues, whether Bunga has her right for the easement, which is to pass over Point Cactus land. Yes, Bunga has her right for the easement. The discussion, in this case, there is an registered easement between Bunga and Point Cactus, which has been registered on 1st January 2020. It has been registered when the 4 characteristics of easement fulfill. Bunga also has right to pass over Point Cactus land on the day she wishes to pass over the land because the easement is cancelled yet.
The second issue is whether if Bunga is allowed to pass over Point Cactus land by car. The answer to this is no, she cannot. This is due to during the agreement of the easement, Point Cactus mentioned that Bunga is allowed to pass over her land, but subject to only pass without vehicles. This falls under NLC section 288 that states about rights under easement. Next.
Whether Point Cactus has a chance the application at Mahkamah Tinggi, the answer is yes. Point Cactus has chance to cancel the easement to National Land Code section 291 stated that cancellation by the registrar when one party no longer give consent. In this case, Point Cactus no longer give Bunga her consent to pass over her lands because she assuming that the easement was abandoned for more than a year because.
Sorry, I lost your explanation.
From us.
Dekat my part ke yang start? I ke yang tak dengar? I tak dengar you punya explanation tadi. Discussion third issue.
So as for the third issue, refer to NLC section 291, stated that cancellation by registrar when one party no longer give consent. So in these cases, Point Cactus has no longer give Bunga her consent to pass over her land because she is assuming that the easement was abandoned due to MCO and even after it was uplifted.
All right. Okay.
So that's all from us.
Okay. Okay. Alright. Okay. Betul. Okay, come. Let's see your issue. Okay. So overall, okay. I get your point. Alright. So where's your issue bawah tu ya? I tak nampak tadi. Sekejap. I zoom in from my end. Alah, keynote lah. I tak nampak. Okay, sekejap Okay. Whether Bunga has her right for the easement which is to pass over Point Cactus land. Okay, correct. Good. Buat macam ni sama macam group sebelum ni which is to pass over mana kan? Pass over ataupun nak guna across somebody's land. Whether Bunga can pass over Point Cactus land by vehicle. Okay, this one. Actually issue 1 and issue 2 boleh gabung. But if you all want to remain this for your written report, okay je. Okay, alright, I okay je. Whether Point Cactus has a chance to win the application in Mahkamah Tinggi. Okay, alright. Nombor 3, kalau you all answer your final exam nanti, okay, selain ayat, you all guna ayat hint I tu, okay, you all boleh juga tukar whether Point Cactus can cancel the application of easement at Mahkamah Tinggi. Alright, so tu you repress kan, pun boleh. Alright, overall this one okay. Okay, next, let's see your discussion. Cases okay, semua okay. Discussion? Conclusion kot tadi You all buat conclusion ke apa benda tadi atas tu? Mana? Slide dah? Alright, first issue. Okay, whether Bunga has her right for the easement to pass over Puan Cactus land has a right for the easement. In this case, okay, this one okay. So basically simple sebab dapat registered easement kan. So you all punya questions, group ni punya question different dengan group siapa yang sebelum ni, group 3 sebelum ni. Group 3 kan. Okay, group 3 dengan group 9 kan. Group siapa is satu easement. Okay. So you all ada registered easement. So very straightforward. So kalau ada registered easement maksudnya the Bunga, okay, Bunga ada hak. Okay. So next. Okay, I suka yang you cakap as long as the easement is not cancelled yet. Okay, tu betul. When you answering registered easement, you kena put as long as the registered easement has yet to be cancelled. In this case, during the agreement of the easement has mentioned to a subject to only pass without vehicle. Okay, this one good. Extent of easement sama macam group sebelum ni tadi. Okay, the third issue. Dia slow slow loading Okay. Puan Cactus has chance to cancel. To cancel lepas tu tak ada ed Please betulkan you punya grammar dah. Has chance to cancel je, tak ada ed. Okay? Has chance to cancel the easement applied to Mahkamah Tinggi. Stated that cancellation by when one party no longer give consent. Okay, this part you separatekan my dear. Okay, dia apply ke Mahkamah Tinggi kan untuk dia cancel the easement. The easement, the cancellation can be done also by the registrar. So kalau dia apply ke Mahkamah Tinggi, you cakap lah if the Mahkamah Tinggi issued the order for the cancellation, okay, then the registered easement can be cancelled. What Puan Cactus can do, go to land office and request for the registrar to cancel. Okay, to cancel the registered easement because she has no longer giving her consent. Okay, so yang tu you improve dalam you punya written report. Okay, because she assuming that the easement was abandoned. Okay, that's correct. So kalau you all nampak question tu, especially kalau benda tu registered kan. Okay, selagi mana benda tu kalau registered, ada abandonment, okay, you still registered, you still ada hak. Okay, tapi kalau benda tu tak registered and abandoned, okay, mind my words Okay, take note you all. Kalau registered, ada abandoned, dia still ada hak sebab easement tu registered. Tapi kalau easement tu dalam facts tak ada kata pun pasal registered but was abandoned, okay, Puan Cactus might have a chance to win. Okay. As long as because the easement has yet to be registered. Okay, I lupa nak highlightkan you all. Kalau ada abandonment ni, okay, kita kena tengok. Kalau benda tu registered, abandonment ni kira second lah. Second level. Tapi kalau sekejap Sekejap je. Tahira. Okay, sambung balik. So I lupa nak highlight kat you all. Kalau ada abandonment ni, if it was registered, then dia ada chance. Memang full chance. Okay, so you all boleh cakap chance to succeed lah. Kalau dia tak register, tapi ada abandonment, okay, so may or may not win the chance to succeed. Okay? Alright. So overall, this group, okay, good. Explanation. So I'm looking forward for your written report. Okay? So okay. That's all. Ada further questions? Tak ada. Alright, so overall, okay. Alright, you're welcome. Okay, so just briefly sebelum kita wrap up, overall I appreciate and I thank you all for your efforts and presentation. Overall, I'm happy because I saw that you all outline very good. As long as you understand the concept, okay, I actually worried. Okay, I actually worried. You all boleh tak jawab final exam kan? So after I saw you all punya presentation, I think you all dah ready untuk jawab. Okay. So do revision. Okay. Share with each other. Please upload dalam link. Okay. So I hope that you all can answer very well in your final examination and score for your for this semester. Okay. So this for today's presentation marks. Okay, I akan sekalikan you punya lepas 8 hari bulan kan you all punya homework. Okay, so I akan include you punya mid-sem test marks, homework marks dengan presentation marks. Okay, thereafter you will be left with your written marks dengan final exam kan. Alright. So I hope that, nanti I bagi sampel juga, I akan scan, I upload juga sampel mid-sem test answer, your friend yang good answer. Okay, so you can see from there. Alright, so I hope that you all do the revision. Actually topik yang I share ni adalah topik yang masuk exam. Okay, and also please rujuk land acquisition. Okay, sebab ada perubahan soalan hari tu. So I thought just nak bagi additional notes. Tapi tiba masuk pula kan. So I dah explain kat you all. So please do the revision for land acquisition. Okay, procedure sahaja. So after all, thank you so much and thank you for your attendance and participation for this semester with me. Okay, and I really wish you all the best. Your final semester kan, I mean like before you all go to internship kan. Okay, so 16 hari I will be in JB. Okay, starting 13 hari bulan, hari Isnin. Okay, so if you all wanted to do consultation ke, so just nak recap ke apa ke atau ada benda nak tanya, so boleh ask me daripada 13 Februari lah. Okay, hari Isnin sampai Rabu lah. Okay, Rabu pagi je I tak ada sebab I jaga exam. Okay, so that's all from me.
Which link need to submit the presentation slide?
Oh, ada. I dah bagi dekat dalam e-learning. Kejap ya.
Do pre-submissions for presentation
Pre-submission project presentation yang forum tu.
The one how to submit the PDF file?
Attach. Kejap ya. Kejap, I on jap. Okay. You all SBEQ 4542. Okay, forum. Okay. Okay, you click yang dekat add discussion topic tu. Okay, add discussion topic. Then you akan nampak keluar subjek kan. Okay. I on edit mode. So kalau you tengah buka, you boleh buat sekarang. Cuma jangan ubah editing lain lah . Sebab selalunya kalau I tekan own edit mode daripada lecturer ni, dia macam ada error sikit dengan student. Okay. So subjektif you tulis lah, you group berapa, presentation berapa ke kan, ataupun project questions ke. Okay, and then you post to forum. You attach PDF ataupun attach PDF, klik yang I try buat sekejap. I dah upload tak silap I punya. Manage files. Manage files. Manage files. Insert or edit video file. Okay, video file tak payahlah berat sangat. Sebab nanti tak tahu lah kat you all punya part, nanti dekat lecturer part dia punya game tu berat sangat storage dia. So you all tambah apa, manage files, add on ni you can drag and drop files here to add them. So you add you punya PDF. Okay, boleh buat tak? Jadi tak? Mine ada dah. I upload all projects questions. Kalau you nampak tu kan. So kalau dekat I punya ni keluar Sam punya. Sam Yu Hong dia dah upload untuk group 8. Okay. So you add on dalam tu. Okay, sebab kalau I buat link submission, semua orang tak boleh view. Okay, only me je boleh view. So I buat forum so everyone can view, everyone can comment in bawah tu. Alright?
Okay, thank you, Tata.
Alright. So kalau tak boleh nanti just let me know dalam group. Okay? So the rest, thank you so much. Kejap Could we get the notes via e-learning platform? Oh, okay, boleh je. Okay. I upload terus you punya land acquisition. Alright, so that's all from me. Thank you so much. So if there is no further questions, kita boleh wrap up lah. Okay. So today shall be our last online meeting. Okay, thank you so much everyone. I wish you all the best for your final exam. Okay?
Thank you, Miss.
Alright.
Thanks.
Alright. Decision.